Peace to the saints. Today we have a unique moment that we expected to come, didn't know when it would come, and it has arrived. Today we see the formal removal of my voice from the conversation on the affairs proceeding in the Middle East and the humanitarian concerns therein. We know that when the YouTube platform owned by the Google Corporation decides to demonetize you, they're essentially trying to not only silence you, but to also bankrupt you. This is one of many tools in their arsenal. They will jail you, they'll silence you, they'll portray you as mentally unwell, they'll plant false accusations, whether they're of sexual deviance or of mental illness. All of these things to destabilize you psychologically and to make sure that people do not follow you. This is one of those moments as someone like me, I, of course, find it to be disheartening and challenging, and I'll talk about that a bit, but I also find it to be very inspiring in as much as we get to find out who's who and what's what. There's no doubt that when I started speaking about Gaza and the atrocities occurring, many people, many who love and respect me, many who have been loyal, they said, Marquett, don't speak about that. Number one, it's going to get you demonetized. It's going to get your channel taken down. And number two, those Arabs don't care about you. Those Muslims don't care about you. And despite that, I carried on. So today we get to see if those Arabs, if those Muslims care about me or care about me as much as I've shown care for them, which has gone beyond YouTube, far, far beyond YouTube. In fact, one thing you guys might not know is that I started supporting Gaza in 2013. And I may have mentioned this briefly before, but I'll say that in 2013 in Orange County, I went to a fundraising event at which I'm pretty confident I had donated the most money. And I will never forget the looks that people gave me, Arabs, almost like, what are you doing here, N-word? You're not supposed to be here. We don't want you here. This is a private thing. And still I was there, although I don't recommend you go places you're unwanted. But at that time, I knew it was bigger than the people there and their biases. It was about children, mothers. It was about young men dying prematurely. It was about a people who were having their land taken from them in real time. And it connects to me because as a Black human, it is said that we come from the continent of Africa, a continent that was thoroughly and viciously colonized, which unfortunately doesn't make it unique. We were robbed of so many things, not only in some cases our land, but also our culture, our religion, our mores, our folkways, our knowledge of our ancestors. And so to see a people during my lifetime being colonized and robbed of all of those things, I thought, I should do something. What I can, right? Can't do everything, but you can do something. So, and also my tolerance is very low. This kind of foolishness, do not follow man, follow Jesus. You're gone. You're gone. When Jesus stops the snipers from firing on children and mothers queuing for food goods in Gaza, then you let me know. So for now, you will be removed for such things. And I can assure you that I respect everyone's religion, but I don't respect people who are lazy and they believe that you can leave it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you can leave it up to Jesus, or you can leave it up to someone other than yourself. You want to be lazy and not accountable for the fact that we all live on a planet in which we want to get on in peace. And you say, oh, well, I'll pray for you. I'll make a dua. I'll call on Jesus. Well, apparently, maybe Jesus on his day off. I don't know, but you and I have to do something is the point, and I won't accept people saying that. I'm sorry. Things are too serious for us to play those games. Um, it is what it is. Oh, mind you, some folks were having challenges understanding what it means to be demonetized. What it means to be demonetized is, like, for example, you might notice that the super chat button is not there. Well, that means that you cannot support anything that I do, and which means that the team that works to push out the content to you, the educational content, and it's really in every area of human activity that I speak to help you improve your lives. That team doesn't get paid because they get paid from the money that comes in from you viewing and super chatting and doing all of those things. So today, and I'll take you guys through the timeline. Today, when I realized that I was under attack, I think I may have made a post yesterday, actually, even just anticipate, I could feel it. And then today I got 2 emails letting me know that I had warnings on the channel. Now, mind you, the channel's never had any warnings or any strikes ever. So it was the first warning, but it came as 2, which is unusual. I didn't get 1 warning. I got 2 warnings at once. And it said, don't worry, this is a warning, not a strike. And then a couple hours later, it just said, hey, your channel is demonetized. You're done here. So I'll take you through that information. But, one of the challenges is that not only do these people attack you directly, but additionally, they will attack those around you. They'll attack your family. They'll, in this case, they take food out of the mouths of young men. I've hired a lot of folks like you who were fans, and I've hired you all, put you on salary. I have guys just like you watching me right now, young men who have been on salary for over a year, young men that I've taken around the world. Young men, I've had my old lady cook them up meals. Young men I've had stay at my home for 6 months straight, free of cost. So I tell you guys about wealth through unity, which is to say that those of you who know me, there are many things that differentiate me from folks you watch on YouTube, but one of which is I always open my homes to you, my vehicles, my access to capital, opportunities. And all of that is under attack. And already, as soon as I got the notice that the channel was demonetized, I immediately let everyone know who works for me on this YouTube channel. I said, hey, where you eat what you kill, right? You eat what you kill. So I said, it's demonetized, so you're all done until further notice. And I did pay folks today, even though they're supposed to be paid from the proceeds of YouTube. But what happens when YouTube demonetizes you is whatever money that they owed you, they don't pay you, right? So in this case, it's like 2 weeks worth of work that folks have done. It's the 15th, and YouTube basically just holds that money. So as a result, the various folks working on my behalf and on your behalf, because they're chopping up the content for you, they're putting it into 8-minute clips that are digestible for you. So I paid them today out of my own money, not out of the money that they actually earned, because YouTube is keeping it. And I say all that to say this. It's a really interesting time because so much in my comments or even in my DMs, people, hey, brother, Aki, you are so brave and I support you. I love you. Men and women, old people, young people, I love you. I support you. I'll stick with you to the end. Well, now is the time. Now is a great test. I've told you all many times that we do not know how long I will be here. Appreciate me while I'm here. And when I say we don't know how long I'll be here, I'm not talking about just on YouTube or on social media or in the public eye. I mean, in a literal sense, we don't know how long I'll be here. You all may be aware, and I don't talk about everything bad that happens to me because I'm an optimistic, positive person, but some of you may be aware I used to be on Cash App like everyone else, and then I was booted from Cash App with no explanation. It was political reasons. You all might also know I used to bank with US Bank for in excess of a decade, and then all of the sudden they decided that they didn't want to bank with me, and there's no explanation. I tried to go into 2 countries. You guys know I'm very widely traveled, and I was denied visa for these countries. And you all may be able to guess why. So we see that the walls are closing in, so to speak, which this is a part of the road that I've selected. But I hope that we can take a few lessons, and I'll also be taking a lesson. I made a gamble. I made a gamble on the idea that um, I never believe people when they're like, I love you. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I believe that. But people say, I'll stick with you. You're speaking for us. You're fighting for us. I made a gamble that some of them, a good number of them, were telling the truth. If they were telling the truth, then for us to continue pushing out content, especially the content that specifically got me banned, and I'll show you. I think you guys know which content it is, but I'll show you and we'll go through it. But for us to continue pushing that out, it would have to be funded by you. You will have to use the information below, the Venmo, the PayPal, and in the description. There's a Bitcoin address. And shout out to the one person who actually used that last week, because someone had asked me, like, man, you got to get on Bitcoin. And then someone actually used it. So that was neat. But it will have to be supported by you, because the Google Corporation specifically does not want that content to be public or popular. And certainly someone such as myself, who not only articulates the issues, but says it with passion and really means it. But more importantly, I am not an Arab. I don't look like a Muslim. And so it has a little more power than maybe hearing someone who is Palestinian saying, hey, don't destroy my history. It's a little more powerful than hearing someone who is Arab saying, hey, don't abuse my people. It's almost like I'm an objective third party saying, I'm not one of those people, nor am I one of those people. I'm on neither side. I'm just sitting back observing that this is a human tragedy. This is a wrong, no matter how you slice it. And we, humankind, has to do something. So we're going to go through, if you all would be so patient. And I do want to take out this time to thank the entire team that has been working with me. So many of them are unsung heroes. You may know some of their names. You also may know none of their names, because I'm the person out in front. But the team has been really good. And I did find it to be a bit of irony that the very content that they were chopping up and repurposing, that's the same content that actually got them canned. It's kind of funny how life works out like that sometimes. But anyways, let's see what folks are saying here. It's kind of hard to go through the comments, because nothing really is going to jump out in as much as there are no super chats. So I just have like thousands of comments. So it's kind of hard to figure out which ones are serious or which ones are addressed to me. And mind you, if there's anyone who's mentally ill in the chat, which I trust there are, as Malcolm X stated at one speech, he says, greetings to the friends and greetings to the enemies, because certainly they are among us. And one theological perspective I will give you, I look at it as philosophical. So for some of you, it may be theological, is that the devil is not below, Shaitan, or whatever you would like to call it. The devil is among us, walks among us, sometimes looks like us, sometimes in our own family. And for some of you, maybe in your own heart. But you have to know that there are those who are wicked among us. And if we don't combat them, then they will dominate and the world will be a dark place. And unfortunately, we are moving toward a greater darkness. And it is directly the result of specific groups of people. And if you don't do anything, if you don't stand up, if you don't support those who do stand up, then we will all be drugged down. I've said before in the past, and I truly mean it, the reflection, a leader is a reflection of the people. And within a particular polity or territory, the politicians that they have leading, they are a reflection of the quality or lack thereof of that people. And sometimes you all look at politicians and you say, why do they lie like that? Why do they lie so much? Well, they lie so much because so many of you can't handle the truth. And I'll also want to speak to something else. And I'm going to repeat this a couple times during this talk, because I've seen people harass DJ Khaled. And I've always felt torn about that. I speak out about Gaza. He does not. But I felt torn about it, because what you don't realize while you sit in the comfort of your own home as an invisible person, You ask DJ Khaled to put his entire life at risk, himself, his literal life, his wife, his children, all of his finances. You ask him to trade in his comforts for uncertain payoff. That's a bit of a tall order to ask someone else when you're sitting at home invisible. I do it, but I wouldn't ask anyone else, and I wouldn't try to force anyone else. I do find that to be a bit distasteful. Like you don't force someone to be a revolutionary, especially when you would egg him on when he's helping you or doing what you've asked. But when he starts to suffer, you wouldn't help him. When he starts to suffer, you disappear. And that is the test that we have today on the table, which is we've been demonetized completely. The whole staff that creates the videos that you love, their pay is gone. If you want them to continue, this is the only way, because there's no monetization, there's no super chat, there's no ad rev. And I already told them off rip. I sent out payments today from my own money that they did not earn. And I let them know if we can put it back together, I would more than happy to bring you all back. And you have to respect each and every one of them, because none of them are Muslims, none of them are Arabs, none of them are Palestinian, but they all stood up in your cause. And so there's some live sessions that I do, and I say, Black people should be supporting this. Everyone should always support, because we're speaking truth. But I say, this one is about the Blacks, and this one is about the Palestinians and the Muslims and the Arabs, and they should be supporting. And not only will it have to happen now, today, it will have to happen for the next couple months until I figure out how we can put these people back in play and we can reorganize the machine to continue fighting the good fight. And I want you all to know something else that's really important. I've always told you, especially for the Black people, in the white Christians as well. So I get a lot of anger from Black people and white Christians. Some of the Black folks, not all Black folks, but some of the Black folks will say, hey, man, these Arabs are racist. They enslave Black people. They don't care about you. And then the white Christians will say, hey, and they'll say every foul thing about Islam, and the Arabs did slave trade too. And why are you trying to help Palestinians? You don't live there. You live in America. And we support fill in the blank country. And the reason that I've been fighting this fight is twofold. Number one, it's obvious that what's going on in Gaza is tragic. And unlike probably everyone watching, a lot of these theaters of war, we're talking Lebanon, we're talking Yemen, we're talking Syria, we're talking, unfortunately, the list goes on, Iran. Out of 6 places that, Qatar now, out of 6 places that have been attacked by this particular pariah state, out of these active theaters of war, I've been to 5 of them. The only one I've not been to, and I've probably not said all of that publicly because there's certain places you're just not supposed to go as an American. In some cases, you're not allowed to go. I've not been to Iran. I haven't been able to work it out. But the other places I've been to, and in some cases, while they were active war zones, I have a different perspective on it. So that's reason number one that I've supported. Reason number 2 is that I understand how these things I see what is ahead. You may think that this is about Gaza or Palestine. It's not. You may think this is about Arabs and Islam. It's not. You're dealing with a state that has placed itself where it doesn't belong. It's a colonial creation, and it's very aggressive. And not only does it want Palestine, it wants parts of Syria. It wants parts of Saudi Arabia, the Holy Land. It wants parts of Egypt. And it will not be satiated until it has gobbled up more territory, drunken on blood. And if we allow this vampire-like nation to carry on, we will all eventually suffer, for their goal is to make slaves of us all. They view none of you as equal, even fewer of you as human. It's with great sadness that I even have to explain that, because I wish everyone already knew because then we'd be a real fighting force. Today, we discover that, or rather, we discover if you've watched me all this time and you've thought that you were watching an entertainer, a YouTuber, a comedian, uh, a live streamer, or if you realize that you were listening to a strategist, a revolutionary, a planner, a humanitarian, engaged in serious work with this being one aspect of what we have to do, we'll know when we look in the comments. We'll know, most importantly, if people support it and allow us to continue pushing out the information. Because here's why, Palestinians and Muslims and Arabs really took to the content. It's because most people were scared to make it. It's because you had people taking the Officer Tatum route or the Nelk Boys route, and they're bowing down to the state that will be unnamed, or they're just paying lip service, like some commentators, and they're saying, oh yeah, those people are bad, but they're not organizing. Yes, they're not organizing. Talking won't get the job done. I promise you. And because talking doesn't get the job, hell, not even voting will get the job done. We must organize, and it must be global revolution. And it'll be good not only for the Palestinians, but also for you, wherever you are, because I promise you, your government is probably controlled by these people. Your government is probably corrupt because they're taking your hard-earned tax dollars and sending them to people who use your dollars to do war and to do evil. So it's with great seriousness that I always made that content. And I would very much so like to continue. If we find that people don't support it, then I'll have to say, you know what? I was overly optimistic. I had excess belief in humankind. I had excessive belief in the Ummah and the Deen. And now I have been returned to earth. And maybe I'll just carry on with my personal affairs and my life, which is a good life, which is a very good life. And that's why I always encourage you guys to study those men who make sacrifices when they do have a good life. It would be so easy for me to scream and rage against this particular nation state if I didn't have a good life. I have nothing to lose, right? I have nothing to lose and no accomplishments. I can't be stripped of awards I've won. I can't be, fleeced for the money I've worked hard to earn. And that's why I always brought up to you guys Che Guevara de la Serna, because he had a good life. He was studying to be a physician. He came from a well-to-do family. He was a good-looking guy. So the question is, why then would you decide to be a guerrilla fighter and struggle against a superior military force and have to, move through the Sierra Maestra mountains trying to scavenge for food and hope that you don't get pinned down by sniper fire? Like, why would you choose that life? He is not unique. There have been many men who have chosen that life, but I tell you, there's not enough, because most are cowards. And it is what it is. You may not be the one out in front fighting, but it would be a pity that you wouldn't even be able to support the ones who are out in front fighting. You're in the shadows already. You could at least try to help those who are doing something. I do want to acknowledge the folks who have sent in comments, questions using the information below, and we will do that. And I will also go through and explain precisely what has happened from the perspective of the Google Corporation and how they've engaged me, and how it's very clear that this has not been an honest, fair, or straightforward process. Jerome says, rather writes, you speak the truth. You don't force your beliefs. That's correct. And that's why I never spread religion. I never spread any of those things. I try to respect everyone's perspective, be a good hearer. He writes, you have one-on-ones for everyone watching to decide truth versus lies. Indeed. Mr. Kesem writes, I'm committing $1,000 an hour for the stream tonight. Peace of the Saints. Respect. Gentleman writes, why have you been demonetized? I'll show you. I will show you. I'll take you all through the receipts, as you call them. And, you know, the comedy, this is not funny, but the comedy is that we're dealing with a people who claim, no, we're not controlling everything. We don't control everything. You guys have freedom. That's a conspiracy theory that we control everything. That's a conspiracy. Yet, here we are. And we see that one thing you all can be honest about, those of you who have watched me for any amount of time, you've seen me be critical of everyone. Of everyone. You've seen me be critical of Black people, maybe more than anyone. Black men, Black women. You've seen me be critical of whites, be them in America or Europe. You've even seen me speak of the importance of the nuclear family and being heterosexual. I was sure I wouldn't escape being addressed by the LGBTQ folks, but I survived that. And then here we are. There was one group that apparently does control everything. The banks, because I lost the bank account. Cash App kicked me off. YouTube, Google Corporation demonetized me. Apparently there's a group that does, in fact, control everything. Yes. So apparently that's not a conspiracy theory. That might just be the truth. Someone asks, do I have another channel? Can I use that one? When I'll pull up the emails that were sent to me by the Google Corporation, and we'll take a look at them, and it will show you precisely why that's not a get out of jail free card. And because that would be quite easy. We also have folks mentioning join TikTok or Twitter or Rumble or these other things. And I'll answer your question right now so that you all know why that's not quite the answer. So number one, TikTok, when TikTok came out, I was on there, and in short order, I had 250,000 followers. My content went very viral on there, and I was banned for a video that stated that women on Tinder are low quality. That's all I said. I said when women on Tinder are low quality. And then I got banned for saying that. So I think the lesson there is that TikTok is extraordinarily sensitive for things like that. Here's the comical thing, though. They'll show all variety of sexual things on TikTok. So I found it to be very comical and strange. Then on Twitter would not even allow me to monetize. I even had a paid account. And young lady says, can we see the email? Absolutely. There's several emails, and I'll show you all of them. So do stay tuned. Twitter would not allow me to monetize. There's definitely something going on with Twitter, because when I tried to apply for monetization, it kept saying that I wasn't an adult. You have to be 18 or older to monetize. And Twitter also showed that they had my identification, my government identification, and they verified my identity because I had a blue check on Instagram and Twitter. And so they're basically lying, and they wouldn't reply to any of my customer service requests, even though I had a premium account on Twitter. Oh, and by the way, Instagram took my blue check. I had a blue check just from actually being Marquett Devon Burton, as opposed to like paying for one, and they took it, which is curious how that works, because I thought the blue check was to verify that you are you. Right? I didn't know the blue check was like used as a punitive tool on Instagram. So also on Instagram, where I have about 200,000, maybe, I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't really keep up with it, but over 200,000 followers. Maybe it's 220,000, 230,000. I don't know. And I don't care, because I'm not monetized on Instagram, because they too don't like my political views and make every effort to ensure that I don't make a penny and that I am invisible. The only thing that keeps me visible is the team that I spoke of that push out that content and you guys sharing it. And the fact that the content is good. It's quality content. It's thoughtful. It's honest. It's passionate. There's no nonsense in it. It says link to the GoFundMe. This is the link for the training center, which I've always been talking about. It's the hub of revolution, because I've always warned you that the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be live streamed. You will be kicked off of all of the platforms because they control the platforms. The only thing they can't do is kick you off of your own private property yet. And I think it'll provide us enough time to organize and to, get things done. Like this fella saying Cash App. See, Cash App booted me for my political views. That was done some time ago. So people will also say, well, why don't you use Rumble? Well, Rumble, I am on Rumble, and Rumble is a very peculiar place in as much as, YouTube and Instagram, my followings are fairly close. They're both 200,000 plus. They're keeping consistent. Twitter, I've not really figured out. TikTok, my following was very consistent with what it is on YouTube, 250,000 plus. Then they banned me. But Rumble is hard to navigate. And frankly, it just doesn't have a lot of people, number one. And number two, it has people who are very like alt-right. It has a very strong alt-right bent to it. So you're never really going to get new audience on Rumble. And it's very hard to break into. Rumble is something where you have to bring your audience to Rumble. And the reason that it's quite difficult to do so is, frankly, and I say this not only as a consumer, but also as a professional in the software business, is that their user interface and user experience leaves one yearning quite a lot. There's a lot to be desired there. So it's like I can go to Rumble, but who's on Rumble, right? That's the challenge. It's like, would you rather sell something on Amazon or would you rather sell it on Craigslist? And the comparison between YouTube to Rumble is like Amazon to Craigslist, respectfully. And I say that not suggesting that Rumble hasn't invested significantly in their technology stack. So it's no disrespect to them. So, there's that. For Payne writes, yeah, it's crazy, but guess what? This is why celebrities don't help the public. And this is really powerful. And thank you for expressing this. I think very few people realize this. He writes, yeah, it's crazy, but guess what? This is why celebrities don't help the public. They risk everything to open up our eyes, but we couldn't give two Fs. It's just brain dead entertainment to us. I don't think I could have said it better myself. And that's why I say I don't fault DJ Khaled for wanting to, because he's earned himself a great life. He has a wife, he has children, and I don't fault him for wanting to enjoy the fruits of his labor as opposed to risk it all for people who will abandon him so quickly. I don't fault him for that. Frankly, people could even say, hey, Marquett, you're a fool. You risk everything that you have, and you risk the salaries of your team, whom you care about a lot, for people who don't care about you. I can't argue against that. I mean, there's great meaning there. Let me acknowledge some of the folks who are supporting the work using the information below. So let's go ahead and take a look at what folks are saying right now. Here we go. Shout out to Dominic. Came in via PayPal, supporting the work. May I also acknowledge Mr. Majus writes, by the time you are live, it'll be 2 a.m. So I had to show up now. Peace to the saints. We are with you. I appreciate you. And I know the saints are with me. And shout out to all of you who are actually members. I'm curious about all the people who showed up like, I love you. We love you, brother. Aki, we are with you. You are our champion, brother. Like, I want to see if they're out there. Shout out to Frank supporting the work. Came in by PayPal. Portia writes, peace of the saints, feeling grateful to be a member. And I'm grateful to have you as a member. And shout out to all the folks who really are a part of this thing of ours. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, and someone dropped my Instagram handle for those who don't have it, just yesterday, literally yesterday, this weekend, I hosted some of the saints in Atlanta. So SAS in Atlanta came to my home, enjoyed a workout, had a great home cooked meal. We watched the sporting event, the boxing event. Shout out to my good friend, Bud Crawford. And then they stayed the night. Then the next day, my old lady made them breakfast and had another workout. And then they headed back up to Atlanta. And that's the level of sincerity and authenticity that we have within this thing of ours. It wasn't a meet and greet. I didn't charge anybody to hang out or anything. I open up my home and make everyone as comfortable as possible. And it's the example that we try to provide to heal the world, to make the world more civil, more welcoming, more friendly, and to make it such that you can thrive and be around people who are good people and predictable. So yeah, and things like that you can check out on Instagram. I try to update my stories to give you some sense of the level of camaraderie and real community that we have within this thing of ours. And I would challenge you that there's no one else in the space doing that because they're just here to get the easy dollar, being a commentator and a conspiracy theorist. They're not building communities to actually enact improvement in our society. Shout out to Sage supporting the work. May also acknowledge Mark. Came in. Oh yeah, and by the way, shout out to the lovely women that we have a part of this thing of ours that make us able to do what we do. Shout out to Joshua, writes appreciation for you while you're here. May it be many more decades. May it be. May I acknowledge Jay supporting the work, came in via PayPal. May I also acknowledge Abdullah, writes peace of the saints, support and tuition. Shout out to Wayne, writes, we must stand up and focus. Certain groups of people are focused to end the world sooner. Peace, bro, you ain't lying. These people are some nutty buddies. Davion writes, peace of the saints, support the work. To continue fighting against evil, we must all band together and support. This is definitely a sign that the saint is a dangerous weapon to their cause. Yeah, and they kept inviting me to one particular country. Yo, we'll fly you out first class. We just want to show you what it's like in this country. It's so peaceful and you'll understand, brother. You don't really understand. Hamas is the problem. It's Hamas is the problem. You have to come. We will bring you here as a journalist to our country. We'll fly you first class, put you in the best hotel. We will tour you around. We'll show you around. You can also go by yourself. No problem. You will understand we are good people. And strangely, I get 4 separate offers from 4 separate entities and individuals. Didn't seem right at all. Funny how they'll let me get in that country, but 2 other countries I couldn't get into because of that country. In fact, I know this is true because in one case, once I shared that I couldn't get into a particular country, there's an individual there who rocks with the ism and he's high up in government. And he said, let me look into this for you. Reached out, hey, Marquett, let me look into this for you. And in another case, it was a businessman who was well-to-do in a particular country. Let me look into this for you. They looked into it and then say, yes, this hasn't, they like, the reason you think it is, that's the reason. Yeah, you were accurate. In one case, he was like, nothing I can do. The other case, he was like, yeah, we can get you in, no problem. But they don't really want you in. I was like, I'll stay out. I'll stay out. No problem. Anyways, carrying on. Shout out to Ricardo. He writes, peace of saints tuition. Stand up to support. Keep fighting, Marquette. Is PayPal still a good platform to support? It's fine. It's much better than, well, we can't support on YouTube because the super chat is disabled, but it is pretty good. Venmo's better. PayPal does take a fee. But PayPal is great for those who are abroad because Venmo only works, as far as I understand, for people in the United States. Shout out to Michael. He writes, peace of saints, to stand for something is to stand against something. Marquette Devon Burton, I appreciate you. One of my favorite quotes. People forget about that. Shout out to Davion. He writes, we must all become a threat to evil. That's right. Something's threatening you, threaten it back. We're just victims right now. He writes, we will accomplish this by supporting the work. We will not be able to do this without the Muslims. And listen, people might think what's going on in Gaza is a Muslim issue. They might think it's an Arab issue. It's humanity. It is an issue of humanity. And if you don't find it to be an issue, you have an issue with your humanity, with your humanness. Like, are you human or are you animal? Are you human or are you devil? If you don't understand that what's going on in Gaza is a grave tragedy, something that we didn't think could happen in the modern era, something's wrong with you. It lets us know that either human nature doesn't change or the nature of devils don't change. But regardless, we have to stand up and What we've learned for sure is that there's so many persons in history that maybe they were not portrayed as they were. Maybe they were made out to be monsters, or maybe they were made out to be sinners when they were really saints. And for that, we can no longer let certain characters teach us our history or teach us the histories of the persons that they conquer and control. It's important for us to go get the information ourselves, because the truth is becoming increasingly rare and hard to find. I tell you how wicked and scary this world is. Someone on my team had made an AI image of me and a woman. My own mother reached out and said, "Hey," my mother calls me Mark. She says, "Hey, Mark, I like that suit. Who's that girl?" My mother could not tell that it was AI and not me. It's honestly, it almost made me want to tear up, just because that's evil. That's evil. There's some things that AI can do that are remarkable and beautiful, but the ability that AI gives everyday people to lie and to create fictions, and the godly ability of AI to create humans and to create humans that don't exist is quite scary. And I think that we do need moral leadership to set things right, because we are very much so on the wrong path. May I acknowledge? Minix Store writes, Marquett, thank you for everything you do. This is my first time sending in tuition. I'm grateful for all the free game I've received from your YouTube content. The value you provide to men is truly priceless. I'm in Texas, and I'll be joining the Assassin this week, so hopefully you'll see me soon. Peace of the Saints. Indeed, and one thing that you guys can all attest to is that if you are within one of the sections, if I show up to your city, we're going to hang out. You'll probably see me. We'll go on, we'll exercise. We might have something to eat. We might go out socially. And you can see this with the Florida guys, with whatever section, LA, Philippines, Malaysia. If I pull up, let's do something. I appreciate you becoming a member. And I want everyone to know we're beyond the time of fence sitting right now, because things are becoming more serious very quickly. So we invite you to this thing of ours. We invite you to be an actual member, not just a fan. I've always told you I'm not a celebrity. I don't want fans. I didn't come here to get fans. I don't seek and crave attention. That's why I live in the countryside. I don't want to be around a bunch of strangers. It's not my nature. I prefer to be around people with whom I share values, people I respect and admire. Shout out to Morris Kinsuke. He writes, peace of the saints, overdue tuition. Your fearlessness is one of the things that inspired me to start supporting the Assassin. We need the ism now more than ever. Indeed. I appreciate you. Shout out to Ruby. This may be a lady. Shout out to the Lady Saints. She writes, I must say that you have really been a breath of fresh air. Truth will always prevail. Keep up the good work, Miss Ruby. Shout out to Miss Ruby. Well, she says truth will always prevail. Miss Ruby, I don't know that has been the case. And that is why we fight, because truth won't prevail on its own. It turns out it needs some strong men and some good women to pick it up off the ground and carry it across the finish line, because truth has not prevailed in a while. And that's why we're in this current situation, which is quite challenging. I mean, just imagine, I hate to watch social media nowadays. You hear people using words that are fake words because they can't use the real word. You hear people saying grape because they can't say the real word. You hear people saying essay, they can't say the real word. It's like, when did using the correct word, also known as the truth, when did the truth become illegal? It disturbs me. And I'm just thankful that I was privileged to be a child in an era where we could use the correct word to describe things. We could call bad things bad. We could call good things good. For example, the world is upside down. You might be interested to know that I was flagged for harassment. Yes. And I think, how is it that Google is so offended by my truth, but not offended by the realities of what's happening in the world? Google just took a whole bunch of money from Israel to push propaganda. Yes, it's true. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth. That's been my affliction, is using the truth. I apologize. I hope that Google forgives me for using the truth, because the truth is not favored. Shout out to Luis, writes tuition. Appreciate the work. Shout out to Luis coming in a strong way. I also acknowledge Ozan. He writes, not a thing, just supporting the work. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. He's over there in Canada. Link up with the Canadian section. They're good brothers over there. Shout out to Michael. Came in supporting as well. And also acknowledge Mr. Nasir. Writes, my brother, you are 1 in a billion. Thank you for aiming to lift us all up in so many ways. We are with you all the way. And this ain't just an Aki promise. Peace to the saints. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, I hope that you are with me, and I appreciate that token. And I want everyone to know that if you are with me, if you are with the saints, then lock in, because this is going to be a long, eventful ride. I can promise you that. And, I can't lie to you and act like we're in normal times. This is not the roaring 20s. These are unique times. These are times that may have some challenge in them. These can bring out the best of all of us. But kind of like when Winston Churchill had taken power in Britain, but he had to deal with the German menace, and he could only promise to the British people that there would be tears, blood, and struggle. Not really the campaign promise that anyone wants to make, but we are in a world that's spinning fast in the wrong direction. Our great effort is to actually stop it from spinning in the wrong direction and turn it around. It can be done, but we're really going to have to invest. We're going to have to sacrifice. We're going to have to actually change global culture. You've heard, for those of you who have watched me for half a decade, you've heard me reference global culture. And I know you probably didn't understand what I meant or where I was going with it. I hope it's becoming clear. You have to change global culture. Yes? You might think that you're a Palestinian, or that you're a Chinese, or that you're an Albanian, or that you're an Ethiopian, or you're a Colombian or a Filipino. That doesn't exist anymore. It used to, but it's breaking apart. What I mean is this. If you're all on TikTok watching the same video go viral around the whole world, that video is impacting the way you think, the way you talk, your culture, the way you speak. So being Filipino means less. Your culture, your manner of speech, your accent is coming from this device. In the future, it won't be about being Brazilian or Indian or Australian. It'll be about what your values are, not what your color is, not what kind of clothes you're wearing, but what are your values? Are you a good person? Be the values. There's so many people, they have the same skin, same appearance, that we don't share the same values. I never associate with them. Like Lil Nas X, I would never want to be around a person like that. We're both Black Americans. Like, nah, keep bro away from me. You see? Like, there are Arabs. Like, there's the Arabs who run Egypt. You hear me? They're the Arabs who run Saudi, who run UAE. So different than the people they rule over. The people they rule over don't condone what their governments are doing. Those people, like you and I, are hostages at some level. We all have to break free. Doesn't matter if you're under a communist government, a capitalist government, or a socialist government. In all likelihood, you are under a wicked government. So when I say there's cultural revolution, it's global cultural revolution. We all have some changes to make. Shout out. Looks like someone may have come in via Bitcoin. So shout out to them. I can't see how much they came in for. If it was a baller alert, I apologize for not being able to state that, because I can't see the amount. But I do see that someone supported via Bitcoin. So I appreciate you. Shout out. But Mr. Nasir writes, comes in supporting the work. May also acknowledge Mr. Matul. And stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys all of the emails that YouTube sent, which came in quick succession and didn't give me a chance to make any corrections. They were clearly trying to ban me. Shout out to Denny's supporting the work. May also acknowledge Darren writes, I don't agree with some of what you say, but I do support your right to say it. Well, Darren, I appreciate you supporting me, but I'd rather not have that kind of support. I'll be honest with you. The times are too serious for fence sitters. The times are too serious for like, hey, I'm kind of signed up, but not really. The times are too serious for, I respect your freedom of speech. The times are too serious for all of that stuff. I have so much of a war ahead of me that I can't be with people who are not going to be in the trenches with me. So I appreciate you. You probably ought to listen to somebody else. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to be a celebrity. I'm here to organize and catalyze revolution around the world. And that's what we've been organizing for. That's why you can find sections of the Assassin in Europe, in Africa, in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, and throughout the United States. And I want you to know that when you're saying things like, oh, I support your freedom of speech, this is not about freedom of speech. And side note, we don't have freedom of speech. If you're liberal, you don't have freedom of speech. If you're conservative, you don't have freedom of speech. Because the moment that freedom of speech is abridged, limited, or removed from any person, it's removed from everyone. Once there are tools and mechanisms in law and government to limit anyone's freedom of speech, that means everyone's freedom of speech is gone. Now, what we do in the West, when we have a liberal government, then the conservatives can't say what's on their mind. When we have a conservative government, now the liberals can't say what's on their mind. But what's consistent with both of them is that no matter Democrat or Republican, there's still one country, one group of people you cannot speak about. And we know that to be true because all I've done is political commentary. And I've been doing that since 2020 for over half a decade. And I've spoke about the blacks, the whites, the Europeans, the Africans, the Latinos, the Asians, every sexual orientation. And then I get flagged when I talk about one particular group of people. Curious. So freedom of speech does not exist. But I tell you what, man, that's an abstraction. That's never existed. That was always a dream that was sold to you. You'd be a fool to think that's a real thing, man. If you believe in freedom of speech, I bet you also believe in democracy. I bet you believe in democracy. That's an abstraction. That's not a real thing. Do you ever get to vote on the thing you want to vote on? Should we stop going to war? Should we end property taxes? Come on. You never get to vote. Should we end income tax? We never get to vote on the things that matter. You believe in freedom of speech. I bet you believe in democracy. It's nonsense. You've never been in a plebiscite. In Libya, they had direct democracy in some places, or in some instances. They call it Jahamaria. Plebiscite, direct democracy. You vote on the issue. You vote with your local people for issues in that locality. What happened? Our government, our democracy, went over there to spread some freedom. And what happens? Death and destruction consistently. You cannot be fooled by these things. Freedom of speech. When has there ever been freedom of speech? We're in 2025. If you go back to the Red Scare in the United States, where they were suspicious as if people were becoming Soviet Union agents, communists, and then you had people accusing everyone, oh, that person's a communist. He's a communist sympathizer. You couldn't speak your mind then either. And what was that, like how many decades ago? You think this is new, that freedom of speech is under attack? It's never existed, buddy. It was always a scheme and a scam. Now, mind you, I'm certainly a capitalist. I believe in capitalism, but I just have to concede that a heartless version of capitalism that knows no humanity, knows no God, knows no decency, you basically are dealing in a conspiracy where certain abstractions like freedom, nationality, democracy are used as buzzwords to control you, to extract revenue from you, and to send your sons off into fighting wars that don't matter, wars that are really just expansion of markets for wealthy fat cats. Come on, man. You're fighting on behalf of United Fruit, man. You're fighting on behalf of the Apple Corporation, and you don't even know it. You're fighting on behalf of Lockheed Martin and Caterpillar. You're not fighting for America. You're fighting for American capital, American corporations. And here's the kicker. People think that their money is safe in the 401k and we're going to be able to retire. And you guys remember high frequency trading? Wasn't that like AI in the stock market before AI? Come on, man. That stuff is all a scam. They break apart your families so that you need a 401k, you need an IRA, you need a retirement plan. If you had family, you wouldn't need that, man. If you were doing it like my grandmother had 8 kids, if you had 8 kids, what do you need an IRA for? Your kids are going to outlive you. You got 8 of them. Tax the kids. Okay, I got 8 of you guys. Each of you give me $100 a month. That's $800 a month. And I'm going to live with one of you. So I'm living with one of you guys. You guys are feeding me, loving on me. And then I got $800 in spending money a month. That's how it's supposed to work. But they want to break apart your families and make you believe not in your tribe, not in your community, not in your family, but believe in the government. They want the government to be your God and you fall for it. And you talk this nonsense about like, Marquett, I don't agree with everything you say, but I want to respect your freedom of speech. Nigga, I'm the best thing you got to ever get anything that's close to freedom of speech. See, the problem is you guys don't understand loyalty because they broke apart everything that mattered in the human experience. You don't respect God. You don't respect the chief. You don't have a tribe. You don't respect your family. You don't honor your parents. You kidding me? So I always teach you guys like loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Who and what are you loyal to? Come on, man. Come on. Stuff is insane. Like people come on talking about, well, I don't agree with everything you say. Well, shut up and ask yourself, is he mostly correct? Ask yourself, well, I don't agree with everything he says. What am I mostly talking about? Don't drink alcohol. It's bad for you. Don't use drugs. They'll hurt you. Exercise every day. Exercise is prayer. Sweat is the holy water. 30 minutes of sweat every day. Be thrifty. Learn capitalism. Earn well. Have good relationships. Professional, romantic, friendships. Have a lot of kids. Focus on happiness as the greatest value, not money, happiness. Be a part of a community. And I even facilitate that. You go to patreon.com/the saint and the sinner. You think it's a content membership. It's a membership to a group that actually meets in real life on a regular basis. Check out my YouTube. And by the way, shout out to Sass in San Antonio. Shout out to Sass in Texas. They just tagged me. It's like 10 of these guys going on a run. It's a beautiful thing. So ask yourself, if you don't agree with me, nigga, who do you agree with? Who else is really doing anything? Because I tell you what, I'll drop what I'm doing and join what they're doing. And I'll go back to being a businessman. Matter of fact, I wish I'd have never started this. I could just be a businessman, stack my money up, drive beautiful cars, and I join their movement and not have to be the guy in the spotlight who gets shot in the neck. I'd rather be that. The only reason I started doing it is because I saw that no one was serious and no one was getting anything done. No one was serious and no one was getting anything done. People are like, Marquett, will you go debate so-and-so? For what? What is there to debate? It's not time to talk. It's time to do. What do I need to go debate people for? How often does Israel debate? How often do they ask permission? They just get it done. Debate? I'm not trying to entertain you. Come on, man. And this is, we're so lost and so backward. For example, I saw somebody I posted in the community tab, and you guys can track that I've achieved everything that I said I'm going to achieve. I've done everything I've told you I would do for you. And I've always reminded you all that earth, land is the greatest value. That's why it hurt me so much to see the Palestinians being separated from their land. All of the value is from the land. The diamonds, the gold, the coltan, the uranium, all from the land. The food, the vegetable, the nuts, all from the land. So I bought a large piece of land. And then I said, if you would like to buy in and own a piece of the land for yourself, I'll set aside a number of acres. And then we'll have like 40 acres in community where our kids can play, where we can have, chickens and get fresh eggs, where we can carve a football field out, which I've already done. I invited you guys to my home. We had a football field on an NFL size field, but so that we can live in community. And somebody in the comments, they wrote this, and this is what lets you know that there's so much mental illness. Someone wrote, oh, like live everyone co-locating. That sounds like a cult. Now think about how crazy it is. How crazy is it that we're spooked out by the idea of knowing our neighbors? We're spooked out by the idea of a neighborhood, which means like you actually know the people around you and you trust them and you share values. That's bizarre to prefer living as you're currently living, which is you might live in a tenement, in an apartment, squished in like an animal, tall buildings blocking out the sun, no land, no earth for you. You don't get to even ground your feet in soil. You're on concrete all day. You can't grow a fruit, a vegetable, none of it. You can't even walk out and enjoy what God has created properly. And you live in a tenement, and to your left is a stranger, and to your right is a stranger. All around you is stranger danger. And that you think is a sense of normalcy and comfort? Human beings, we come from tribes. We're supposed to live around people that are like us. Like, come on. How's that not make sense to you people? I mean, I say you people, just a couple of knuckleheads. But just the fact that people challenge the most basic human, like it's human to live around people you trust. It's human to want to be around that which is familiar. It's scary to live around strangers that you don't know. And I would challenge any of you watching, you do not know the names of your closest 4 neighbors, and that should disturb you. You should not be comfortable with that. You hear me? Anyways, carrying on. May I acknowledge? Shout out to Darren. He writes, I don't agree with some of what you say, but I do support your right to say it. I'm going to need you guys to support more than that because we're in serious times. Shout out to Amara. Comes in a real way. Shout out to the lady saints. Beautiful thing. Good to see you. And women are so core to what we do, especially these good women that we have around us. Shout out to all the lady saints. By the way, if you're a woman watching, you haven't joined the lady saints, we invite you to join, especially if you want to clean up your life. And men and women know that you don't have to come into this thing perfect. You need to come into this thing ready to improve. And that's what we support you in. And hell, you guys support me in improving. There's one young man, just to give you a great example. I really respect his honor that he lives with. He'll come down to Burton Plantation. I host a lot of folks come down on a regular basis, just, on a friend level, saints, people like you. And so they'll come down and we'll go do a run. And, he might be lagging behind because he's still achieving some of his health goals, but he doesn't stop. He might be running slower than everybody. He might have to stop and start walking sometimes, but he doesn't stop. He keeps going and he finishes the path at his own pace. And what I know is that he's going to get there. He's going to get there. There's one young man who went to the drip trip years ago. And when he was there, he's a tall fellow too, which is a great thing, especially when you're getting a fine suit. And he was a little bit overweight. And then he came back for the next one and he was looking great, trim. And he was like, hey, man, I had to come back because I got to get new suits, man. I'm looking good now. I've been exercising with the section every week. So this is the new me. That's what we're about. You don't have to show up in tip top shape. You show up and you have a good attitude and you grow. And if you're one of the ladies, you show up and you need to be ready to improve yourself. Like your clothes shouldn't be see-through. I shouldn't be able to look at your pants and see your underwear. You should start improving your morality and start attuning yourself to seek higher quality of men and to want to be a wife and a mother. And that's what we'll help you with. So you don't have to be perfect. You have to be heading in the right direction. That's all we ask of you. And don't wait. Don't delay in life. To all of you guys, don't delay in life. And shout out to my youngins who are here this weekend, because all I'm trying to do when they're around me, I'm trying to turn them up. I want them moving faster. I want them being more aggressive. I want them to succeed. I want them to be young and rich. You hear me? I want them to be young and happy. I want them to be young with great women and be able to start families. So go faster. Don't delay. Like people tell me all the time, oh, I'm going to join when I'm ready. No, join now. Like join now and get ready now. You don't know how many days you have. You act like you have endless tomorrows. You don't. You don't. How about that? You don't. And my good fortune, I've done everything I ever wanted to do. Truly, I have. Anyway, shout to Chawapiwa. He writes, screw Google, peace of the saints. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, man, Google at this time in human history, Google is like a nation, You guys are not really comprehending what's going on. Facebook, Google, Instagram, these entities have replaced the government control. Like, they are forms of government. That's what you're not realizing. They are forms of government. Government has to hire these companies to keep an eye on you and I. These companies have the information on us. You thought your social security number was important. What's more important, your social security number or 30 years of data that Facebook has on you? You know what I'm saying? Or 20 years of data that one of these tech companies have on you. They got your whole psychological profile. They know what you like, what you don't like. They know when you broke up, when you got into a relationship. They know your true sexual orientation, not the one you're saying publicly, even though you claim to be a conservative. They know everything, bro. They got all of the pics you've sent between you and your ex-girlfriends. They know everything. They're really in control. Those are the real governments. Shout out to RTBLA, and they're not controlled by us. You know, you don't vote within them. Shout out to RTBLA, writes, peace to the saints, respect to the big homie. Hopefully you're well mentally and physically. Stay safe, Commander. Well, I appreciate that. I am very well mentally. And shout out to the folks who have been doing our ab challenge every day. I saw some folks fell off already. That's why we're doing it, to get you on track. But my good fortune is that I'm in excellent health. I'm in excellent, and I always talk to you guys, health, wealth, relationships. I'm in excellent health. Excellent. I feel phenomenal, and it's only getting better. I have great relationships, excellent people around me. Just this weekend, as I said, I hosted some of the Saints, and it's always such an inspiring and also so soothing to be around good people you don't have to second guess. Great relationships and wealth. And we know that they're coming from my wealth. That's our number one thing, because what the government hates is they hate the ability of someone to have capital and to do the things either A, that they don't, or do the things that go against their interests. So they hate the fact that I can put some dollars toward the cause of Gaza, which I've been doing since 2013, and other causes that I won't speak of. They hate that. And they hate that I can take care of the people around me, because it shows the people around me very quickly, like, damn, like the government didn't do any of this. Like, man, why are we paying them? You're offering more value. Why are we paying them? What are we paying them for? We pay them taxes, and then they give us terrible public schools. We come out not knowing basic arithmetic. The kids have poor reading skills. We pay them all this money. We go to the DMV, got to spend 5 hours there. You can't even go in on your lunch break and come out. You got to take the whole damn day off. Huh? Yes. But yes, health, wealth, and relationships, it served me well. But I do know that the attacks are becoming more strong, more vigorous. They will manifest in ways that are unexpected, and I'm prepared for all of it. And I appreciate those of you who are with me and your faith, because we're going to need faith. And the reason that we will need faith, even if you're not religious, like the fellow who said, Marquett, I don't agree with everything you say, but I respect your fact to say it. We need more than that. We need faith. And the reason is, we're in the AI era. My mother looked at a photo, what she thought was a photo, which was an AI generated image, and could not tell it wasn't me, my own mother. So that lets you know that very easily could our government or another government, you know which one, portray me in images or video that's fictional, and you might not be able to tell. They could take my voice and have me say something that's not sensible, not something I would say. Or they could just try to make me disappear in various ways, kill me digitally or literally. Come on now. So we know it's gathering, and the only way we can win is together. That's the only way we can win, is together, supporting one another in this good fight. That's it. There's no other way it can be done. That's right. Age of deep fakes. Carrying on. Shout out to Ivan, who just became a member on patreon.com/the Saint and the Sinner. We welcome all of you. And frankly, that's the one way to guarantee to stay connected to the movement, and also to guarantee that you can get the content. And we will be increasing our investment in content, of course. And that'll be where you can find it. And presumably there may come a time where that might be the only place that we do content. We cannot predict the future, but we can anticipate how these devils move. Shout out to Saint Psychotic. I hope you're not psychotic, because if so, I will need to refund your membership, little buddy. Shout out to Mr. Chapman. He writes, here to support. Is the old channel demonetized as well? I'll get to that. Don't let me forget. That's addressed in the emails that the Google Corporation has sent me. Kind of details the punishment that I'm receiving for, just imagine being punished for not doing anything wrong. That's the era we're in, where telling the truth is bad. When you call out that which is evil, you're accused of evil. Upside down, this world is. Imagine being punished for not doing anything wrong. Amy writes via PayPal, writes, support. You're a needed force. Would you be able to fight against the YouTube decision? I fear that may not be realistic. We'll make some efforts, but I am not optimistic. And I'm an optimistic person. And I say that to indicate that it's not a realistic thing. You guys may remember I was shadow banned some time ago on the original channel. And I have a partnership rep from the Google Corporation. And this is how wicked they are. I got shadow banned several years ago for political views. And on that other channel, that's why we had to start from scratch on a brand new channel. We worked it up all the way to 200,000. And I thank you all for that. When I would speak to my partner, I'd say, hey, my channel's shadow banned. And she said, oh, well, we don't do that. That's not a thing. That's just an internet rumor. We don't shadow ban here at Google. And I said, okay, well, let me show you something real quick. Now, you guys know I'd never run ads. I've never monetized. So what I did was I showed her, I uploaded a video, and it was just a blank video, just a black screen, no sound. I uploaded it, and Google has, or YouTube rather, they have automated things that check to see if your video has, content that is inappropriate. So generally, it'll automatically go through and check, and then you'll select, okay, this is advertiser friendly, and then you'll select monetization. If Google finds that it is not advertiser friendly, it'll automatically turn it yellow or red. And then you can click review, like request a review, human review, in fact. So it's supposed to be a human being, not an automated system that'll go through and check, is this video monetizable? So I'm on a partner meeting, and then I go ahead and upload a video, and I'm doing this on a share screen, and I monetize it. And then it immediately turns yellow, not suitable for advertisers. And she says, huh, I've never seen that before. And I said, okay, let me show you something even cooler. And I hovered over the button for review. And it says a human will review this. It'll take an amount of time. And she was like, okay, yeah. I said, okay, check this out. Boom. And I hit the human review. And then we carry on the meeting. And then a couple of minutes later, I stopped her. I said, hey, I got an email. Boom, check this out. And it says, your video has been confirmed as not suitable for advertisers based on human review. And then I asked her, I said, do you believe that a human being was able to review that video that quickly and that immediately? She was like, no, I don't believe that is possible. I said, correct. But you know what's crazier? Do you remember what the video was? She says, yeah, you uploaded a blank video that's black with no sound. I say, exactly. Am I not shadow banned? She says, no, it must be a technical error. We don't shadow ban. It's not a thing. Let me follow up. Now, mind you, it's been years. She's been following up for years. Every time I talk to one of these people, I ask about that. And we don't shadow ban. Well, let me follow up. Let's escalate this. Let's move it to the next person. They're collaborating in evil, ladies and saints. It's a game, man. It's not real. You don't have democracy. You don't have freedom of speech. This is all listen, the money system is fraudulent. The tax system is fraudulent. None of it is making sense. For example, if you look in Florida, they have commercial insurance for your homes. And then there's like a government option, which is not supposed to be widely used because private sector is supposed to always do better. And this generally makes sense. But all of a sudden, insurance rates are skyrocketing in Florida because of natural disasters. I understand. But the government is allowing them to push up those insurance rates so quickly, which would be fine if it was a free market, but it's not a free market because the government legally requires you to have insurance of various types, auto insurance, home insurance, right, for the banks. And the banks are a scam as well. The fact that we live in a debt-based society is a scam. It's all strange, right? Because, if you ran up endless debt, you'd go bankrupt and you'd be homeless. But the government just runs up endless debt. And even while it's in debt, it sends money to Israel. And we don't get to use our democracy and vote on that part. So it's all a scam and it's a trick. And it's like the devils in our country are trying to trick the other countries, mostly in the global south, to keep them working, even though we're the ones holding the debt. And we're trying to make it seem as though, like, just imagine, how can you be the richest country in the world when you're the most indebted country in the world? Just figure out how that works. It doesn't work. It's all nonsense. And you'll never get it fixed until we have an actual revolution and we do the hard work of breaking down all of these ridiculous scams. Like the stock market is a scam. Crypto has become a scam. Because here's the crazy thing. Crypto is supposed to be a ability to instantaneously, engage in, the transfer value of currency in a way that's encrypted and government can't manage to peek and spy, and not even private individuals. It should be anonymous. But now we have government buying crypto, government creating crypto. I mean, all of this lets you know, like, this doesn't make sense. So, like, crypto is supposed to allow us to get away from government currency, fiat currency. Now the governments are controlling crypto. Like, come on, man. Y'all think this makes sense? By the way, if we have any haters, like such as Mario, for example, they're mostly frenemies, right? They act like they're really haters, but they watch consistently over the years. It's really unnerving. That's how you know that these are evil people. But this person, for example, I welcome you to come on, be happy to have a conversation with you. So if we have any haters, mentally ill people, I'd be happy to bring you on and let you express yourself, because sometimes when we bring on these devils, it's a good example, because they're people at home watching, good people. They have a friend like you, They have brothers, sisters like you. They have parents in some cases like you. And what I get to do is just allow you to talk, and then you expose yourself as like a fairly hateful, negative person. And then they're like, damn, that reminds me of my friend so-and-so, or my uncle, or my mom. And then I can point out, like, I can demonstrate, like, this is what a devil is. Stay away from them. So, like, I'd be more than happy to bring any of you attention-seeking psychopaths on. Feel free. No problem. It'd be my pleasure. Oh, yes. But I will show you all the emails that were sent to me. And all of this happened in the last, 15 hours. John writes, "You're black, and you spoke of unspeakables in unflattering terms." I am black, and you're right. Shout to Taylor. He writes, "I appreciate you, sir. Leaving it up to Jesus is stupid. We all must take action. Peace of saints, indeed." And those are the things that make me question the value of religion. I've grown up religious. I really respect religion. But when I hear people say things that are so idiotic, it just saddens me. And I just really question, how can we do a better job at religion? You got to be a real idiot to be like, Jesus is going to solve it. When is Jesus going to solve it? Because he fell asleep for hundreds of years during slavery. He kind of missed that one. People were for sure waiting on him. Shout out to Miles, writes, "Peace of saints. I sent my full message via email." Okay, we'll take a look at that shortly. Anthony writes, "How can I set up an auto debit monthly to support the cause?" I think if you're not a member at patreon.com/the Saint and the Sinner, that's one way to do it. I believe you can also do an auto debit monthly for the GoFundMe, which is for the training center. Now, mind you, that does not go to me. That goes to the training center. So if you're wanting to support me, then that would be Patreon would work better. And so I just want to be very clear so that you know where your currency is going to, where your support is going to. Abdullah writes, "I love you for the sake of Allah, my brother." I appreciate that. I wish you loved me for the sake of me as well, but I'll take that. Shout out to Mr. Gardner. He writes, "Peace of the saints. They can't stop our movement, Sasson or nothing." Absolutely not. And that's because it is a movement. There are some things on the internet that they call it a movement, like red pill. That's not a movement. That's just an internet slang with people who identify under it. There's no headquarters. There's no ideology. There's no leader. There's no strategy. This is just an internet thing. Then there's other folks who call themselves a movement, groypers, which is the most odd word. Like, where did that word come from? What does that mean? It sounds so strange. And they have this one young kid who basically is just fleecing everybody for money and, farming. He's farming clout and things like this, but there's no real movement. Like, they don't get together. They don't know each other. There's no outcome. They're just rebels without a cause. And that's the problem. And bro says, but Lily Gaddis is still on YouTube. Exactly. They'll promote perversion and all variety of filth. And that's what lets you know that something is suspicious. Like, even with my haters, that's why I have no problem ever inviting them on, because I'm always curious as to, like, well, what do you hate? Like, what do you hate so badly? Do you hate that I allow people just like you to use my brand name and make money? By the way, mdblabel.com. If you buy this watch, which is my brand and my design, it's going to benefit someone like you. There's a young man who learned product-based business, and he's now producing this watch. I gave him all the information from the manufacturer, and he's going to make the money. Do you hate that I make money for young people like you? Or is it the fact that I invite people like you just like into my home on a regular basis and show them love and guidance and mentorship? Or do you hate that I tell people to not drink alcohol or not use drugs, not smoke cigarettes, not use vapes, to exercise every day? Like, what do you hate? What's the bad part? I'm waiting. Like, what's the part that you hate? Like that's why I let you guys come on, because I'm still trying to understand that part. Still trying to comprehend what there is to hate. You hate yourself and you're a devil. That's all there is. Shout out to Richard. He writes, peace to the saints, Shepherd. Peace to the saints. I acknowledge Dimitri. He writes, it might sound selfish to me, of me, to say, but you mean so much to me that I don't want you in the fire. For Arabs, blacks, whites, or anyone, your existence is a rare treasure, and the world needs you alive for it to change. I selfishly suggest another approach. Peace to the saints. I appreciate that. And shout out to the real love. And Dimitri has been rocking with me a long time, and I have the good pleasure of, when I see folks' names, like, I know their faces, because we put on so many gatherings. I don't even want to say events, because most of the time when you guys see me, that it's not an event. Like, it's just everyday stuff. We're going for a run. We're exercising. We're boxing. We're going out to eat. So it's a pleasure. Shout out to Ryan. He writes, peace to the saints. I know it may not do a lot of damage, but I petition to boycott YouTube. For all serious supporters and members to not watch any videos except The Saint for a month. For starters, we must take a stand not to be bullied by social media. You're thinking in a wise way, because the truth is, we already should have taken a stand. And if we don't take a stand, they're going to continue to walk all over us. That's what that country in the Middle East, that's bullying 6 countries at a time, starting wars with 6 countries at a time. They don't yield unless you make them yield. So we must do something. And I appreciate that suggestion. And that honors the teachings, which is, as a man, to be a man of action. May I acknowledge Charles just became a member at patreon.com/the saint and the sinner. Shout out to Canton, writes, peace to the saints. Appreciate you. Good to see you again. Canton's consistently supporting the work. May find and shout out to the folks who are really pulling up. I'd also be curious to know, if these are newer folks or older folks. Let me acknowledge. If you guys don't mind, let's look at some of the emails so you guys can understand how this all started, if you don't mind. So let's take a look. This is the first email that I saw. And, the good thing is we're doing the ab challenge, assassin ab challenge. And I tell you guys, when you wake up, don't get some water, don't eat, don't check your phone, do the exercises. And I'm very blessed that we're sticking to that. And so you get to choose how your morning starts. And the morning is an important thing. As I talk about in Boss University, if you can master the morning, you have a chance at having a great day, and enough great days stacked up, that's called success. So anyways, fortunately, this didn't start off my morning, but I got this email here, and it was one of 2. And this is from YouTube. Hi, the Saint. It looks like, and I hate that they have this casual language while giving you such bad news. And this is important to know how bad the news really is, because for most YouTubers, YouTube is their sole source of income. So you're basically saying, hey, by the way, I'm taking 100% of your income. You're screwed. And they have this casual language. So I find that to be a bit grimy. But this is the nature of these people. It looks like, and this is the title of the video, racist Israeli tries to debate Marquett, instant regret. Now, is there anything wrong with that title? Absolutely not. Is the Israeli I was talking to a racist? Am I bald? Come on now. Come on now. So it's referring to an individual. It's describing a trait of an individual. And because I have not had any violations on my account, this right here, it shows 4 stages, right? 4 stages. The first stage is a warning. This account of mine, several years old, it's never had a strike. It's never even had a warning. So this will be the first time. And I remind you guys, I've talked about the blacks, the whites, the Muslims, the Arabs, the Asians, the Latinos, the LGBTQ. I've talked and discussed everyone and everything, except as of late, I've talked about one particular group. And all of a sudden, I was able to go 6 years, no warnings, no strikes, not even, so I'm going to say it again, no strikes, which are serious, not even warnings, which are much less serious. I haven't even gotten warnings 6 years in. But then all of a sudden I get a warning, but not just one warning. I get 2 warnings. So there was that one. And then here's the other one. And I start to notice a pattern. The first one had the word Israeli, and the second one has the word Israeli. Israeli rage quits after Marquett asked him about Jewish circumcision, which I was speaking only to facts. And you'll notice right here, it reads, YouTube removed your content, which I think is a fairly strong thing to do in as much as, I mean, is it my property? It's my property, my intellectual property, my creative property. You removed it. You didn't like ask me. You didn't give me a chance to appeal. You didn't say, hey, we believe it's violating X, Y, and Z. Do you want to edit it? Do you want to shorten it? Do you want to cut out that part that we think is bad? Do you want to explain? It was like, nope, we're removing it. You have no chance of freedom of speech. You cannot have an opinion. You cannot speak about this. There's no democracy, freedom of speech. This is a wicked dictatorship. Fascinating. Fascinating. So I got 2 of those emails, 2 separate ones, both. And you can see this, I think this is in military time. So this was at 2 a.m. So once I finished my workout in the morning, I was greeted to not 1, but 2 of these. And it says that you're violating our harassment policy. Now, you may remember these are debate videos. They're about debate. So how is it I'm debating somebody, but I'm harassing them? I didn't force anyone to come on. They voluntarily came on. And if they didn't like what was occurring while they were on, they could just sign off. And we're talking one-on-one. So if they didn't like what I was saying, they could have said like, hey, I feel like you're harassing me. So they didn't decide that because they stayed on for hours on end. So you're deciding that I was harassing them and harassing them at such a level that I need to have the video deleted and have my channel demonetized, which is quite strong. I find that very curious. But here's the thing. They gave me a warning. But it should be odd to you that I went a whole 6 years with not 1 warning. 6 years. I start talking about the Israelis. All of a sudden, I got 2 warnings at the same time. 2 warnings. I went 6 years with none. Talk about the Israelis. Not only do I have 1 warning, which would be crazy, I got 2 warnings. But here's the thing. The warnings weren't warnings because warnings are not supposed to demonetize you because they're warnings. It's not supposed to be the consequences. It's the warning. So Marquett, how did you end up getting demonetized if it was just a warning? Shout out to Son Goku, just became a member at patreon.com/the Saint in the Center. Well, I'll answer that question for you. How did it escalate so quickly? That sounds strange, Marquett. It doesn't sound quite right. Please do tell. I gotcha. No problemo. Let me acknowledge some of the folks supporting the work. May I acknowledge? Shout out to Marcos. He came in even before I started. It's a beautiful thing. And Marcos is a good brother. He's a confirmed saint over there in Sasson, Texas. He writes, "Peace of the saints. It's Sasson or nothing out here." And see, Marcos is somebody who's confirmed. He's a gentleman that I know well, I respect. And, I have no doubt that he's always going to be rocking with me. And that's what you need in life. May I acknowledge Anthony? He writes, "Peace of the saints. They may have demonetized you, but you always will have our support. Also, I got the Master Communicator course. It's filled with gems." I appreciate that. And do drop the link for the Master Communicator course. I trust you all will get great value out of it, the value that'll last a lifetime in all areas of interaction. May I acknowledge Carter? He writes, "Peace of the saints. The truth is too potent to those who live in evil ways, so they'll do all that they can to silence it." Yes, I find it to be remarkable that this particular country finds your freedom of speech to be so scary. Like your freedom of speech to them is like terrifying. And we know that it's true because we see Marco Rubio. We even see Donald Trump saying that, hey, we won't allow people to come into this country if they've spoken ill of Israel on social media. That's outrageous. This level of censorship, we're living in 1984. I mean, it's just hard to imagine that this is what it's come to. And the worst part about it, we have the Democrat-Republican game where they're constantly talking ill of each other. We don't even see the Democrats making fun of the Republicans for creating this kind of a police state where you have thought police. They're a part of the play. So that lets you know that this pretend adversarial system that we have is not adversarial. They're all fat cats that are collaborating, and they're not competing against each other. The government is competing against the citizenry. That's why you have a Nancy Pelosi doing all this insider trading, fleecing and cheating us. Come on now. Yes, sir, Bob. You have even Omar Ilhan, whatever her name is, the Somali Muslim politician. She was accused of being a millionaire, which shouldn't be an accusation, makes it sound bad. And then she says, "I'm not a millionaire." And then she had to do a financial disclosure. She's worth 30 million. I'm like, God damn. The level of lies. And the question is, how do you take the humble office of being a public servant and all of a sudden you find yourself Nancy Pelosi rich? How is that? How do you become president like Donald Trump and then you're in the White House talking about I just made him $1 billion, pointing to your buddy Charles Schwab? And that feels good to you? I made him $1 billion. Your job as president is not to make anybody $1 billion. It's to help the citizens. You're a servant, but you want to be a ruler. Yes, it's challenging times we are in. Shout out to Brandon. He writes, "Peace of the saints. Let me know how I can help. I appreciate you." And shout out to Brandon again, gentleman. I know his face. Good brother. Had the pleasure of being on 2 drip trips with him. Shout out to Emmanuel supporting the work. Writes, "Peace of saints." Came in by a Venmo. He came in twice, which makes it a baller alert. He writes, "For the revolution," and that's where we're going. Shout out to Malik. He writes, "Peace of the saints. I'm always going to rock with you. Been here since 2021. Whenever you drop that live critiquing AMS, Steph is cold. You are the greatest. I appreciate you." And that's old school right there. The funny thing is I remember exactly where I was. Strangely, unusually, I was in downtown Las Vegas, which I almost never go to downtown Las Vegas. So I remember I was in downtown Las Vegas. I can't remember the name of the particular hotel, but I was there for whatever reason. I remember making that one. And, it's really neat to be able to remember how you came into the ism. And you've been here a long time. It's a beautiful thing. Half a decade. That means something. May I also acknowledge, what the heck? Okay, sorry about that. Got the most trippy email just now. There we go. Shout out to Trayvon. He writes, "Peace of the saints. Keep the fight. Keep fighting the good fight. You are a one in a lifetime kind of person. I appreciate you." Shout out to the real ones. Appreciate all of those who support me. Shout out to Andre. He writes, "They can't stop us. Go for it like a fearless lunatic, sir. I'm here for it. Sasson or nothing." You're gonna have me turned up. Shout out to Charles. He writes, AKA Thewald, the I identify as a white woman shirts I bought last year. Oh, he says the shirts that you refunded came in much appreciated. Okay, fantastic. So he said that's very honorable. That's really honorable, and that's the beauty of this community is that we have so many honest, honorable people, and it's a pleasure to be among honorable people. So I just want to just share real quick. If you didn't understand, he had ordered a shirt and it didn't come in on time, and so I said, okay, well, let me refund you, which is the right thing to do. It's nice when you don't have to call your bank and do all this BS because the merchant does the right thing. I said, oh, I apologize. That's our fault. I refunded him. And he said, well, the shirt came in, so I'm going to give you the money back. That's community. That's what it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to have to call your bank and say, hey, this guy was supposed to give me a shirt. He didn't give it to me, so I need to dispute the charge. You shouldn't have to do that. That's not the correct way. And here's the crazy thing. In our society, it's so organized against the citizen that they always favor business. I got an Amex that I pay a huge amount of money every year just to have the damn card. And every now and then I have to dispute. And I have a ton of transactions and they have the nerve to ask me for evidence. I'm like, yo, I spent fill in the blank insane amount of money every year. And I only dispute 3 charges a year for petty amounts. And you're asking me for evidence? Wow. And that's because they favor business. They don't favor the individual, the little guy. No, sirree, Bob. They favor business. But this is what we have allowed. Even Europe, for all of its flaws, they have much better consumer protections. And these are all things that we have to fight for. For example, did you know that salmon, the fish, they have lab-grown salmon, lab-grown meats where they're giving you meat that's not really meat? And these are the Amazon, Jeff Bezos. This is the Bill Gates giving you fake foods. You think you're unhealthy now? You think you're on processed food now? Man, what they got in store for you is evil, my friend. And the problem is when you have Donald Trump running the country like a business, and I love business and I appreciate a businessman, but there is morality and ethics. There's morality in from an individual standpoint, like your personal morality, and there's ethics in business. Yeah, he's a businessman, but he doesn't have any damn ethics. When you have a business guy with no ethics, we're all going to be down bad. So many Americans are addicted to drugs. It's not even illegal drugs. It's legal drugs because the pharmaceutical industry is out of control because they want to make $1 out of you and I. Come on now. Come on. Yeah, it's not right. No, it's not right. Anyways, shout out to Charles for being a man of honor. May I also acknowledge Mr. Naeem, he writes, take this as the call to action for all of us to use the information in the red bar at the bottom of the screen, show support, cut out the Google Corporation. I myself will be joining Patreon this week and getting Boss University next week. Peace to the saints. And shout out to the folks who have Boss University. We're actually uploading it to school.com/Marquett, Marquett. So that's SKOOL.com/Marquett, Marquett. Just click classrooms. It's not fully up yet. And the reason is because it's a lot of lessons. It's a tremendous amount of information. And everyone who's already purchased it, you will get access to it on school. So have no fear. So you can buy it at the current website. If someone be kind enough to drop the link, we'll share it. And once it's up on school, we'll give you access there too at no cost, of course. And I thank you for supporting me and supporting yourself, because Boss University is one of the pieces that I'm most proud of, because it really gives you the fundamentals, the keys to happiness. Life is about being happy, and you can be happy on a consistent basis. Notice they demonetized my channel today. I also had to let go employees today. Do I seem unhappy? No. It's life. It's life, and we can deal with it. And that's what I was telling someone earlier today. I said, I've been through these things before, so we're going to deal with it. Shout out to George, writes, tuition, I appreciate you. Good to see you again. Mouse acknowledge. Brad, he writes, not a thing, just supporting the work. Shout out to Brad. Mouse acknowledge. Justice, shout out to Justice. Good to see you. He writes, tuition. Mouse acknowledge. Young Carlos, he writes, support. Let's keep this thing going. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's run it. Shout out to Jefferson. He writes, so long as you are here, I will continue supporting. I am a lifetime member. Jefferson, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And these are the things that life comes down to when you get to see all of the love I've given. Now, I want you guys to really pay attention to this. And I talk about this in my book, The Black Box. There are moments where you get to say, all of the love I've given you, what are you going to give me back? Because I need it now. Most of the time, we're really fortunate. Those of us who are good men, we're strong men, we give out a lot and we almost never ask anything back. But there come times where you're like, "Nah, I've given you so much. Now I need something back." And hopefully those times never come for any of us. But it's such a beautiful moment when you see it come back and you see like, wow, like I planted seeds and they're blooming. And I picked the right persons to be friends with. I picked the right persons to have as family. I picked the right women to share love with. That's a beautiful thing. And then also you're going to find a number of the seeds were duds. You're like, damn, I showed so-and-so a lot of love. I put a lot of money in this person's pocket. I protected this person and they do me like this. They abandon me. They don't help me. They don't support me. Wow. Like that person was just milking me. I didn't even know. I thought that was a good person. And that's okay, because this challenge has given you the opportunity to truly see the person and set them aside. Be strong enough to set them aside. Yes. Now, sometimes we hold on to things that we shouldn't hold on to, whether it's pain, whether it's a relationship, it's history. And we hold on to things that we should not. Remember, I say show love to those who show love to you. Shout out to the ballers. Issachar writes, peace of the saints. Appreciate you, Mr. Burton. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Shout out to the ballers. The ballers have pulled up. I also acknowledge Mr. Abdul. He writes, still here to support you, Mr. Burton. I appreciate what you do. Thank you, sir. That means a lot, because I know that my content is not everyday content. Let's just say that. My content is not everyday content. My content is for people who are a bit more serious. And so I thank all of you, and I have a lot of respect for you guys. Okay, so these are the two emails. So now here's the questions. Well, what do you do when you get these two emails, right, from the Google Corporation, from YouTube? So see, bro, right here, put up the Cash App link. We don't have a Cash App, buddy. Come on now. Anyways, so I was banned from Cash App. Okay, thank you. So right here, it tells me that I'm getting a warning, and it's for harassment. I've been apparently harassing someone who voluntarily came on my channel. And in fact, I did it 2 times. And here's the crazy thing, ladies and saints. This is how much they're scamming me. It was the same video clip. So one was like the live stream, so like the full-length video, and they took the same clip and they flagged it in 2 different videos and gave me 2 warnings instead of 1 warning, even though it was the same clip. That's crazy. Okay. So then what did I do? I went into the studio platform, which is the back end of YouTube. And there were 2 options. Option 1 is to appeal, which I did because I wasn't harassing anyone. So I appealed both of them. And within minutes, a human reviewed it and said, nope, we doubled down. You were wrong. Okay. So what's your option now? To remove the warnings, even though warnings don't actually impact your account in terms of you not being able to post, you not being monetized, you not being able to upload videos. It doesn't do any of those things. It's just a warning. But still, I decided to do the training, and I did it. Had to go through twice. So I do the training, and after I complete the training and I went through, got all that questions correct, so I have a understanding of it, and it says, okay, well, we're going to keep this on your dashboard for 90 days. And as long as you don't get another warning or anything, you're good to go. Your account will be in the same standing as before. So I'm thinking, okay, fantastic. So then, close the laptop, carry on with my affairs for the day. And kind of had an eerie feeling. You ever get a feeling? Had an eerie feeling, but it wasn't new. I'd had this feeling, unfortunately, for a little while. I could feel things kind of closing in, these types of people. So let's see. Then I got this email right here. 2 of them, of course. So I got this email, and it says, we've reviewed your appeal, right? And we're committed to saying that, nah, you were wrong. So you appealed it, but we're not accepting your appeal. We're going to give you the warning. But as you can see right here, it reads, because this is your first time, right? Because this is your first time. So imagine you've been with a company, Google, for 6 years. In 6 years, they never had one problem out of you. Then it's your first time and it's a warning. So how do you go from your first time and a warning to all of a sudden you're demonetized? And it's supposed to be 3 strikes. So you're supposed to get a warning, and you could even have a number of warnings, right? As long as they don't last, you don't have an issue within 90 days. So you go from 1 warning, then you're supposed to get strike 1, then strike 2, then strike 3, demonetized, right? They went from warning all the way through to strike 3, demonetized. Like I didn't even get my strikes. They just straight demonetized me. Interesting, isn't it? So let's take a look. And I also took the training too, which is funny. They still did me dirty. Then here we go. Here we are. So then they send me this one later on. This was about 6 hours ago. And enlarge this one for you. And this will answer some of your questions you guys have had. Hi, Saint. Our team of policy specialists carefully looked over your channel. Oh, was it necessary to look over my channel? I thought we had a video with one issue with one video. We found a significant portion of your channel is not in line with our policies. Significant? Like what is significant? Like what percentage? Because you guys got to remember, let me ask you guys this, just logically speaking. We know this is about the Israeli content. We know it's about the Israeli content. That's full stop. Clearly the issue, because those are the 2 videos that they flagged. Now, if I have thousands of videos and I've been doing YouTube since 2020, so 6 years in, thousands of videos, and the only ones that are an issue are the Israeli ones, how can that be a significant portion? It can't be. I got videos on the most random things. I mean, most recently, I uploaded a video on why you should not verbally abuse your lady. I have the most random videos. I have videos on how to select a business suit. I have videos on how to speak well, how to articulate yourself. Like, how is it a significant portion of my videos are against your policy? Like, how could that be? Especially when, I'm not getting into it. You guys see how crazy this is? See how inauthentic and dishonest it is? So anyways, they write, as of today, your channel is not eligible to monetize. You will not have access to monetization features. Now, here's the funny thing that you guys got to ask yourself, like, wow, those people are powerful and they're not fair. They're not playing fair and they're very powerful. Marquett, 6 years, no issues. You talk about the blacks, the whites, the Asians, the Latinos, the Muslims, the Christians, the LGBTQ, everybody. You talked about those people. And then you went 6 years, no problem. And then all of a sudden you start getting a lot of problems. You went from no strikes, no warnings to 2 warnings. And you went from warnings, skipped all the strikes, and they demonetized you. They didn't even follow their own rules, which lets you know, as I tell you guys, there's no rules. Book of Dark Truth. Somebody dropped the link for the Book of Dark Truth. That's where I teach about things like this. Like all of this stuff that you think is real, these rules and the democracy and the freedom of speech, this is a scam. The stock market, the debt system, the financial system, banking system, this is a scam. I don't say this as one of these marginal individuals who's like uneducated and couldn't survive in the system. I've done well in the system. You hear me? I've done great in the system. I say this is a person who's mastered the system, understands it, and is honest enough to tell you it's a fraud. There we go. That's a Book of Dark Truths. This will help you understand the real world that you're actually in, not the fake one, where they tell you get 3 strikes, but really, if you mention Israel, you get 0 strikes, 1 strike, and you're out. Come on now. That's how it really is. Huh? Let's talk about it. There we go. You know, he knows what's up. He said, BB just did a deal with Google and YouTube to stop me. Yeah. You know, not me in particular, but people speaking up against the atrocities. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeedy. So it says you won't be able to access monetization tools. Now, here's the crazy thing. It's like, why did you guys review my whole damn channel? And if you did review my whole damn channel, how did you review 6 freaking years? Not 6 hours. 6 hours worth of content would take a long time, but you reviewed 6 years of content. You reviewed 6 freaking years of content in 2 hours. How'd you do that? How did you review 6 years of content in 2 hours and then decide that I need to be demonetized? Come on. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Now, here we go. It says, while your channel is demonetized, and let me make sure this is large so that you guys are able to see, read for yourselves. Okay, here we are. While your channel is demonetized, you should not. Now, this is, I believe Mr. Chapman asked me about this, and this was the idea of like doing a workaround. You should not create new or use existing channels to get around these restrictions. So it's basically saying, hey, N-word, we're punishing you. Take it. This includes using any of your related channels to apply to a YouTube Partner Program, or directing viewers to your other channels that may be monetized. Here's the kicker. Doing so could lead to termination of all of your channels. Dang, that's pretty serious. And you guys have to concede, like, if their actual goal, when I say they, I'm talking about Google and then the people who control. If their actual goal was to get you to stop saying things that are inappropriate or harassing or maybe racist or anti-Semitic, if their goal was that, I promise you, the moment you tell a YouTuber, we're going to pull all of your monetization, you don't even have to actually do it. All YouTube has to do is send an email. Hey, we're YouTube, you know where you make all your money. We're YouTube. If you continue making this kind of content, your money is gone. Boy, you're going to see, next thing you know, they're going to be Abba and preach. You hear me? They're going to be doing reaction video after reaction video, joke after joke. They're not going to do any serious content. They're not going to talk about anything serious from that moment forward. That's all you have to do if that was the goal. But it seems as though the true goal is to be freedom of speech controlling fascist, to be punitive and to punish, and to silence is the goal. And they're just creating these little fake steps when eventually they know that their goal is to remove you from the platform. And these are fake steps. And they're skipping steps anyways, because I didn't get strike 1. I didn't get strike 2. I didn't get strike 3. Kind of just skipped really quickly. So their goal is clearly not to get you to respect their rules. It's to get you off the platform. So anyways, they say if you even try to go on your other channel, you're going to be terminated. The Terminator. It says, here's what you can do next. If you believe your channel was incorrectly suspended, you can appeal. Now, here's the kicker. It's already stated that a significant number of my videos are problematic. What are the chances I'm going to appeal successfully? They flagged 2 videos earlier today. I appealed and they told me no within minutes, within hours. I mean, so come on. It's not even realistic. Bro over here saying unrealistic things. I think this is the same guy that first acted like he was going to support it on Cash App, knowing damn well that there's no Cash App. And he's over here talking about Rumble's the new YouTube. No, unfortunately, Rumble's not the new YouTube, because if it was, I'd already be over there. Rumble's a poor substitute, which is why like people who have been demonetized are still on YouTube, because Rumble's not a great substitute. Anyways, let me acknowledge some of the folks supporting the work. Shout out to Emmanuel supporting the work, came in via Venmo. May I also acknowledge Nate Lute writes, keep it going, getting a workout in, beautiful thing, love to hear it. May I also acknowledge Lamont writes, DMV got your back. Shout out, man. I was just recently actually thinking about getting over to the DMV. Timothy writes, tuition, I'm proud to say I'm part of the newly ratified Chicago section. Peace and saints. That's a beautiful thing. And shout out to the Shy. Yes, indeed. Love to see it. We got to be present there. That's an important market. I acknowledge Michael. He writes, tuition first time and overdue will not be the last. I appreciate you. God willing. As times are becoming increasingly uncertain. I also acknowledge Ricardo. He writes, peace of the saints, came in via Venmo. Shout out to Mr. Chambliss supporting the work. Now also acknowledge Joseph. He writes, tuition. Shout out to Joseph. Man, it's consistent in every way. I acknowledge Omari writes, for the cause. Shout out to Ramon. He writes, peace to the saints. I also acknowledge Reginald, he writes, standing with you, Saint. You are a master planner. I know you will continue to come out on top. I appreciate you. And if you've taken Boston University, we talk about these moments in life and we talk about how to get through them. There's a specific lesson in Boston University. It's called getting out of a rut. Life has ruts. Drop the link for those folks who haven't checked that out. Mohammed writes, why do you think Arab countries are being so docile toward Israel's aggressions? If this continues within 10 years, they will reach their goal of a greater Israel. I surmise that they will do it actually much sooner. And it's a fairly complex thing. Even if you're looking at water and water rights, Israel has their hands in everything. But Israel has been very good at conquering the leadership. So Israel has been strategic and said, you know what, we don't have a lot of people, because if you compare the European Jewish population to the Muslim population, it's no comparison. Or even if you compare to the Arab population, no comparison. So they don't match you one for one, but they say, hey, if we can control the leaders, we can control the followers. If we can control the leaders, we can control the followers. So they've either killed the leaders in many cases, or they control the leaders. They do that through the various devils that man yields to, be it greed, drive for sex and affection, fear. And because they've been able to control the leaders, they control the people. And that's precisely why we have to have an authentic leader rise up among the people. This will not be someone who's in government. This will not be a part of the political class. And unfortunately, we have to really increase the quality of the people. That's why I have the training center, because so often I can see that, the people, if you leave them to their own devices, they're going to accept what's happening and they're going to make poor decisions. I can't tell you how often I read the comments and it's either bad English. I'm like, man, we need a better educational system, or someone's saying something that just indicates that they are very provincial, haven't been exposed to much. I kid you not. I was looking at a photo that I uploaded for Saints Weekend. Oh, by the way, the Saints Weekend tickets are almost out. And in Saints Weekend, we had on shoe covers because it's clean to wear shoe covers if you're going to wear shoes indoors. People are dressed up, so we didn't want 50 people taking off their footwear. So we had on shoe covers, and some dimwit in the comments says, oh, well, look at his shoes. They don't match his outfit. So like I had on shoe covers. Most people were barefoot, so they thought these blue shoe covers were my shoe color. And it just shows that they just been exposed to so little, and also they've been living filthy because they've never had a situation where someone would say, hey, pop on these shoe covers. Frankly, when I go to tour properties, the real estate agent, half the time, we're touring beautiful properties with fine carpets, not like stock carpet, but, like ornate carpets that you order or have made. And so they'll say, hey, would you pop on these shoe covers? And I was just thinking, it's so sad that there's people who've never seen shoe covers, but this is the world we live in. And that's why I'm creating the Training and Events Center to lift up mankind. And not until we lift up mankind with education, integrity, and values will we have a better political class. Because right now, the average person is too foolish to choose the right person. And that's why we find ourselves in this quagmire. Thank you, Chunk, for sharing that. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you. But anyways, that is my answer, Mohammed. It's a good question. But we already know what we have to do to get to work. So we have to get after it. Shout out to Mr. Morris came in again with a baller alert. He writes, I haven't been catching the lives lately because I've been hyper focused on the master communication course. Shout out. I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking out the time to take it seriously and to pull out the lessons, and it's worth it. He writes, looking forward to Saints Weekend. Even though we gave you Cam, Florida will take the win. Peace to the Saints. I feel bad for having another football game at Saints Weekend, because Saints Weekend is not the football game event, but we got to do it. We got to run it back. And listen, man, we got the secret weapon. So it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I can't wait to great times ahead. Shout out to Caleb. He writes, tuition, thank you for building a real community, an in-person community. Peace of the Saints. And you know what? I must say, that's the only kind. There's no other kind of community. Shout out to Dylan. Good to see you. He writes, so many prophecies from 1984 are coming true at light speed. Sass or nothing, in a real way. Shout out to Dylan, man. I got to catch you one day doing some stand-up, man. May I acknowledge Miles? He writes, peace to the saints, Mr. Burton. You are one of the last truth tellers left. We have to support and stand with you. The majority of humankind is lost and will be further misled due to online AI deep fakes. That's a fact. If you do not support Mr. Burton, there is nothing else to properly inform you. You will be lost. Bruh. There's even, I've always respected Andrew Tate's intellect. And recently I heard him say some things that just were so consistently off color. I was like, either, it just seems unfortunately like he's kind of turned down a wrong path. I heard him talking about I don't even want to say it, but it's just sad because, there's so many of these folks out here that you see them, they have so much potential to be of great use to humankind. They have a large platform, like Kanye West has a very large platform. And it's like he'll talk about it, but it seems like he only does that when he's about to drop an album or some new merchandise. So apparently he's not authentic. And you'll have other folks they'll talk about the Matrix, but sometimes they are the Matrix. And, it's just so many smoke screens out here. And so many folks, you think that they're genuine, but unfortunately not the case. I know I'm disappointed. I know a lot of the fans gotta be disappointed. I also acknowledge, okay, let's see. Shout out to Adam. Okay, I think that might just be a random email. Dimitri writes, tuition, first time sending in. Love the work. I appreciate you. Shout out to Dimitri. Love the haircut. Also acknowledge Xavier. He writes, did you hear that Congress is trying to pass a bill that will take away your passport for being critical of Israel? Bruh. These things they're unbelievable. It's so loony that it's unbelievable. It's so loony. It's just so freaking loony. Anyways, let's get back to the how YouTube rolled out their censorship campaign. So anyways, it says you are being demonetized, even though we didn't give you strike 1, 2, or 3. Then it says, here's what you can do. If you believe that you've been incorrectly suspended, you can appeal. And we all know that the appeal is a scam because I did an appeal this morning and it already denied it. So I know how that goes. I got another channel that's been shadow banned literally for years, and they keep telling me that they're escalating it. And it just apparently takes years, literally years. Then here's what the earn page looks like on YouTube. It says your channel isn't earning right now. Well, but here's why. Harmful or hateful content. Well, the question is harmful to whom? It's not harming the listeners because they're watching it in high numbers. So are you telling me that they're watching something that's harming them and they're too dumb to know they're being harmed? No. I don't think that's the case. Harmful to whom? Harmful to those who hate the truth? Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. Then it says hateful content. Oh, really? Say it ain't so. It says content that is incendiary, demeaning, or promoting violence or hatred, especially on the basis of protected characteristics. Protected characteristics. I think we all know who's protected, and it ain't us. Then there's more. There's more. Then I get another email. I thought this one was particularly grimy. You are not able to monetize. Well, we knew that, but it's letting me know channel memberships are paused. Well, that's fascinating. So are you telling me that people who paid for a membership on YouTube, and most people didn't, they got free memberships, just side note in case you're wondering. And my memberships are not on YouTube. They're on patreon.com/thesaintandthesinner. That's where my memberships are. But YouTube does its own thing. And most of those are free because many people like you watching me are generous, and you guys would offer free memberships to people. You'd give them as gifts, which I always encourage you guys not to do. Even though it makes me money, I would always say, don't do that, because within this thing of ours, we have the 3. Number 1, Be yourself. Number 2, be good to yourself. Number 3, be good to good people. And when you're giving random gifts, you don't know if it's going to people who are bad people. So even though it would make me money, I always say, don't do that. But here's the weird thing. YouTube stopped everybody's membership. So you're telling me if someone did pay for their membership, you're just basically going to cancel their membership like halfway through the month? That's not even ethical. That's completely unethical. In fact, and further, it should be illegal to do that. And I hope that you refunded their membership, which I doubt Google did do that. But that's wild, isn't it? And it's funny, too, how they sent all of this separately because it's just so much BS that they're putting you through. They just break it up in separate, disappointing emails. Yes, indeed. So that's how YouTube does you. And it also lets you know that they will not be able to renew the membership. Well, duh. I thought that was pretty obvious. And so what I'm pointing out to you guys is that 2 a.m. YouTube sends me 2 warnings after 6 years of never getting a single warning. I appeal, get rejected. I did the training, which would mean that I learned. And then even after me doing the training twice, then they went ahead and demonetized me without giving me strike 1, 2, or 3. They canceled all memberships, didn't refund anybody, apparently. And this is YouTube. This is not real membership. My real memberships are on patreon.com/thesaintofthecenter. And they did all of that merely because I was critical of Israel. That is the only reason. There's no other explanation. Even the 2 video titles they sent me, both the video titles have the word Israel. And it's not to get me to stop making the content. It's to remove me from the platform is what they're using, an accelerated fake process to get me out. And that is what you're dealing with here. That is what we are dealing with. So when people say that they're controlling everything, they are. Our government, our tech firms, our thinking, our speech, our democracy, our religion, our interpretation of our religion, they are controlling. And I want to show you guys a couple things too, a couple more things as well. And by the way, send in your comments, questions as we wind down. Let me go ahead and take a little swig here. Let's take a look at this. So this is one video. This was about an Israeli that begged me for a debate. And a lot of them did until they got cooked. And then, I cooked up about, 50, 60 of them. And then the Mossad was like, all right, stop it. This guy's just devouring them. Like, we keep sending them to the beast. It's not working. But I want to read a few of those comments out to you because I think it's just worth meditating on. Before I do that, let me acknowledge a couple of folks, if you guys would be so kind. Shout out to Miraz writes, Peace of the Saints. Thank you for all of your mental vitamins and spiritual nutrition you have provided to humanity. Absolutely. Welcome. Thank you. Shout out to the ballers. Ralph writes, Peace of the Saints. With the West in rapid decline, that's a fact, I would appreciate your thoughts on the Saints transitioning out of the existing corrupt financial system to stay ahead of the impending doom. I've actually talked about this a couple of times. I think that you have to both be outside of it and inside of it at the same time, Ralph, which is to say that there are at least 5 currencies I can think of right now. Maybe there's 7 total, but 5 I can think of off the top of the head that are stronger than the US dollar. And you'd be wise perhaps to have some of those currencies because they're going to hold value quite well, whether the dollar is a reserve currency or not. The Omani Rial, the Jordanian dinar, I think Bahrain and Kuwait also have currencies that are stronger than ours. Of course, you have the British pound and the euro. So I'd probably not go for the euro. It's usually pretty close to 1 to 1. The British pound is a dollar. Excuse me, it's £1 to $1.25, which is respectable. And then the Omani Real is like damn near, I think it's like $3 for every. Excuse me, yeah, one Omani Real is like $3, and I actually have some of most of the currencies that I named. Oh yeah, and of course the Swiss franc as well. So you want to find ways to earn in those currencies or to store value in those currencies without having to pay for currency conversion. That's a good basic start. Thank you for that question. And shout out to the ballers. I see the ballers that showed up at the $100 level. Shout out to Miss Quick, writes, peace to the Saints. Good to see you. Shout out to the Lady Saints. And also acknowledge Charlie I think he came in before, so I think he came back. Shout out to T. He writes, screw Google. We know the purpose behind the demonetization. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I also acknowledge Francisco with the baller alert. He writes, I have to make sure to show up for this live. I've made a Venmo account just to support. Thank you for the knowledge and the work you put in. And you know what, Francisco, I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me because you took that extra effort. And that is what the Google Corporation is counting on. It's counting on the fact that you guys are going to sleep. It's counting on the fact that you guys will allow the governments, the tech firms, the Israelis to take your heroes and make them disappear, whether it's boot them from the platforms, put them in jail, or put a bullet in their neck. And it's counting on you guys sitting back and doing what's easy. It's counting on you guys looking at people like me and just thinking I'm an entertainer, a live streamer, a comedian. And instead of realizing that we're here for a purpose and that we can do something and that you can do something. So I appreciate you taking that effort. One thing I'll tell you that I found to be really remarkable, Cash App is far more used on YouTube than Venmo. And when I transitioned from Cash App, because for political reasons, they shut down my account, nothing other than that. And I went to Venmo, revenue dropped significantly. And I thought that was really interesting because it just takes you to download an app and like take 30 seconds to connect your bank account. But just that little bit of effort causes the fall off. And so the fact that you took out the time to make that effort, when we have enough people like you who will make the effort, that is what changes society. It's being proactive. And when we can all move in step on whatever the mission is, we're going to achieve. And that's precisely why I talk so much about faith. I talk so much about loyalty. I talk so much about hierarchy, because the goal of the government is to break us all apart. It's to have us living as individual atoms, lonely and unhappy and impoverished. And so I thank you for being an example of not allowing that. It says, will you take legal action? This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but legal action, I mean, come on. Our government, which is the law, is trying to take your passport if you speak against Israel. YouTube just banned me for speaking against Israel. What chance do I stand? Right? They'll just bleed me for more money. Shout out to Jay, just became a member at thesassin.com. That's THESASN.com. Click join. Now also acknowledge Teddy writes, peace to the saints. What's understood doesn't need to be said. Absolutely. I appreciate you. And I need to get with that a little bit more, Teddy, because I've been saying what's understood. You hear me? Shout out to Aaron. Came and supporting the work by Venmo. Appreciate you. I also acknowledge Heels In, supporting as he always does. Shout out to Heels In. Good to see you. Been with us a long time as well. Okay, let's take a look at something real quick, if you all don't mind. And I really want you all to be mindful of this, which is the idea that there will be a lot of people, especially if you're successful, they tell you they love you, they act like they're your friends. They don't love you. They're not your friends. And in some cases, they're just using you. Or in other cases, they just don't care about you. And so this is a great opportunity to reflect for all of us. So let's see. Bro said, on behalf of 90 million Iranians, I want to thank you. On behalf, this man is the ambassador, apparently. This man's the ambassador. Abdullah writes, brother, thank you for standing up for Palestine. I appreciate that. This person writes, I love this man. Now, the challenge is twofold. So, as I mentioned to you guys earlier about DJ Khaled, so say DJ Khaled spoke up on behalf of Palestine, and the response is, brother, thank you for standing up for Palestine. Or the response is, I love this man. Now, love is a really strong word. I always encourage people not to use the word love, because you should love your parents, you should love your children, love your siblings, love your wife, or ladies, love your husband. And for those persons, you'll sacrifice greatly. Will people sacrifice greatly? People write, I love you in the comments. I don't know. Right, it's amazing. He's doing what nobody else has. And that means a lot. I appreciate that. He's on another level, calling out their venomous vitriol and incessant lies is absolutely phenomenal and needed. And I agree. I think that's an accurate statement. But here's the question. If it's needed, if I am needed, or if persons like me are needed, how much will you support me? What length will you go to make sure that I can exist, that I can operate? You really have to ask yourself. The reason that we're in the situation we're in is because so often when the one rises up to do the work, when he's beaten down, you guys leave him in the gutter and go on to the next pretender, to the next preacher. It's the real one that always suffers. The Dr. Umar, they let Dr. Umar scam $5 million. That boy ain't been demonetized. He ain't been stopped at all. I got kicked off a Cash App. I'm a proper businessman with years of business experience in the public sphere. I lose my Cash App. I lose my bank account. No explanation. None. Dr. Umar is accused of scamming and has clearly been doing it for years on end. Took $5 million, no functioning school, and bro is unbothered by the government, by any auditors, by financial institutions, unbothered. So what happens is the people who are actually doing the work are the real threat. The people who are just talking, they're not the threat. That's why they get to keep talking and growing and influence. Come on now. Somebody noticed that. Is that just me? Somebody noticed that. I think it's strange. I also want to point out something that Noam Chomsky has said this before. He states that the intelligentsia, being that they're intelligent, capable, it does not benefit them to fix the system or to change the system because they benefit from the system, meaning the way things are. You got to ask yourself, if Marquett went to elite schools, not one, but twice, 2 degrees, traveled all around the world, has expensive things, a lot of assets, does it benefit him to rock the boat? No, he should just be like DJ Khaled, who's actually Palestinian, and not say anything about Palestine or Israel. My only challenge is, like, when the truth is inside me, it's like it's fighting and punching it's going to rip its way out if I don't let it out. Some of us have a soul. Some of us are soulless. No disrespect to DJ Khaled, it's just that's what he is. It would be to my benefit to not rock the boat, to not complain, to just continue working my stock portfolio, continue acquiring $250,000 cars, to continue acquiring multi-million-dollar properties, to continue traveling around the world, buying the finest custom suits and laying with the most gorgeous women on earth, and continue to have my great political and business contacts and not getting them mad at me. It would be to my benefit to do those things, as opposed to make it so that I can't fundraise money in the tech industry, make it so that I alienate most of the people who would support me in business, and create bad relations among foreign governments, even those that I have contacts in. So what I'm telling you guys is that the people like me will not try to change the system because they're benefiting from it. They understand it. They mastered it. They know how to use it. if you have someone who's actually successful in the society still trying to change the society, that's the guy. That's the guy. Like, for example, Dr. Umar, he didn't have any success or any, and I'm not like picking on him. He's just an easy example you guys are familiar with due to his recent issues. But he didn't have any success before YouTube. So of course he should try to change the system, right? Like, he gets his success from just paneling. He's never run a business ever. Even Barack Obama never ran a business. I mean, he's a politician. He's supposed to be a public servant, came out of there, multimillionaire. I mean, it's interesting how this stuff works. It kind of lets you know the nature of the system. The system is extractive for the people at the top. They're extractors. The people at the bottom, they get extracted from. That's how the system works. You guys get tricked so easily. And I'm not trying to throw people under the bus. I'm just trying to give you guys practical examples that you can relate to, because you guys get fooled so many times. And I think it's embarrassing. Like, for example, Andrew Tate says that he helps men. How do you help men if you sell them adult content and then you try to fleece them for as much money as possible to pay to meet webcam girls that they're never going to meet? How are you a person who helps men? It's just not like, none of the stuff adds up. Or you got a guy like Kanye West and Nerd Fuentes, and they say like, okay, well, these are good people and they're fighting those people. It's like, word. None of them have movements on the ground. So how could they fight? You can't fight without soldiers on the ground. What are they fighting? They're not fighting. They're just marketing themselves. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to become more famous with a false cause. It's not a real cause to them. Like, are you guys fooled? Come on now. What are we talking about? It's like, and here's the thing. Some people even say, well, Marquett, who do you respect? I've named a number of persons that I respect. I appreciate their perspective and their work. I just don't get free promo. But, you'll see me either doing a collab with them, or I might use some of their work. I'm just not in the business of giving free promo, especially to people that I don't engage with or do business with, because unfortunately, people are so phony nowadays. Sometimes you'll connect with somebody only to find out like, man, this person's an actual homosexual. Like, and I'm not here to disrespect people who guzzle Skittles, but I'm just saying in one particular case, there's a YouTube personality, and I come to find out like, man, this guy's actual engaging in these kind of practices, obviously behind the scenes. And I'm not going to put him out there. I'm not going to, say who he is, but I was just like, word, like, damn, that's the kind of stuff that made me not want to deal with any of you guys. So nowadays, like, after I observed that situation, I said, okay, I'm not going to acknowledge any of these people until I like really know them, because they could end up being this kind of a person and I didn't even know it. Some people can get on a microphone and talk well, but it's a projection. It's not who they really are. That's why one of the things I take pleasure and pride in is some of you guys watching, I've known for 5 years now, because I always had a very open policy with people who are members and really a part of this thing of ours and who are building community with me. Some of you guys have known me for 5 years, and you can say, well, I always heard Marquett say he doesn't drink alcohol, but I've known him since 2020 in Las Vegas, and we've gone out, we've dealt with women, we've had fun times, we put on events. I've never seen the man pick up anything other than water ever one time, not one time ever. I know he doesn't drink. Like, I heard it, but I've also seen it over a 5-year period. It's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro, don't play like that, bro. Don't do that. Like, stop lying. Like, I did not say that. That's not the case. That's not the case. Like, that's an abomination. I want everyone to know, guzzling Skittles is an abomination. Don't say that Myron's done that. I've never said that. I've never seen that. I was not referring to him. And sometimes you guys get so obsessive over certain personalities. It's like, you think I'm talking about this person because they're on your mind. They're not on my mind. You guys might be big fans. Or even, I'm sure some of these YouTubers think I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about them. So we cannot be dishonest like that. It's not manly to lie about people. Me personally, even if someone was my enemy, and I don't have any YouTube enemies, these guys are characters and clowns. You can't beef with these people. They're rats. But even if I have beef with someone, I wouldn't say that they're a Skittle guzzler when they're not, because that's such a low abomination. And I'm not going to spit on their entire family name with a lie. we need to deal in the truth. I don't teach you guys to lie. Don't lie. And especially don't lie on people that we have respect for. That's not right. That's not manly. Don't do that. It's disgusting. Like who does that? You just start lying about people? What kind of this is the problem with the society. It's not manly. You just start lying on people. Where do they do that at? You just start lying on niggas. Yo, and see, like that is so annoying because I have to deal with that. I have to deal with people lying on me. I'm the realest thing out there. Now I got to deal with people lying on me. Like one cat was in the chat and said, Marquett's Ethiopian. I'm like, damn, word? Like niggas is changing my race. Like this is insanity. You heard me? You can't trust anything out here. Niggas is telling me I'm Ethiopian. Like, no, sir. Well, like, what do you get? Like, cat was like, you're not an FBA, you're a tether. Like, what? Like, no, in actual fact, my grandmother picked cotton. Like, I'm about as FBA as it gets on both sides, my boy. Like, let's not be like ludicrous here. But this is the world we're in. People start lying. Like, I don't teach that at all. Anyways, may I acknowledge, shout out to Renzo, just got a member at thesassin.com, membership at thesassin.com. That's THESASN.com. Click join, as did Shola and Sophia. We welcome you. Shout out to the Lady Saints. We'll have to make sure she gets connected to Diamond. Once you get your Lady Saint membership, do message Diamond on Instagram. You can find her at the Lady Saints. At the Lady Saints. Shout out to Ralph. He writes, peace to the Saints. High level game as always. There's a saying, as I know you already know, find out who you can't criticize, and you will find out who controls you. Their censorship game is tough, but more and more people's eyes are opening to their tactics. Yeah. The only question is, will it be too late? Right? Shout out to Juan, writes, Nicaragua Saint here. Peace of Saints forever. Shout out to Nicaragua Saint in a little while. Mr. Naeem came back. He writes, peace of the Saints. I call again to my fellow supporters. Take the money you would have put in a super chat and put it into support through Venmo or PayPal. I'll be cutting out the BS expenses from my life to save for our cause. And investment in the Assassin is an investment in you. It's real talk. And anybody who's messed with me for any amount of time, you know that we always make sure that we take care of you guys. Absolutely. We're building real things over here. May I acknowledge Schledgic writes, don't stop the grind. Have your people get the demonetization removed. Looking forward to the next business showcase live. Yeah, I've been missing those too. I really enjoy that. Business is something that I very much so enjoy. Shout out to Imagine Onward. He writes, thank you on behalf of Sassin Atlanta for the invitation to watch the boxing match. And so we could unplug and recharge while being around good people. But this just reinforces that, number one, evil never sleeps. Number two, Sassin or nothing. Number three, we are in revolutionary times. You ain't never lied. Let's see. Carrying on. May I also acknowledge Malik? I think he came back. He writes, just joined under my email that is Son Goku. This is truly a thing I want to be a part of, Saint. You have been a beacon of light. Peace of Saints. I appreciate that. That really means a lot. And I know that we have something special because there have been times that, when we get together, it's electric and it draws people in. And whether we're boxing or we're in Vietnam or we're at having a conference in Vegas or whatever the case is, like people take note and they're like, oh, who are you guys? What do you guys do? Like, what's this about? That's how you know that there's an energy there. There's a camaraderie. And I guess you gotta be a part of it to know. You gotta be a part of it to know. We welcome you warmly within this thing of ours. I also acknowledge Jay, who just became a member. Let's see. Shout out to Amir. He writes, you have supported Muslims. We will support you. Show love to those who show love to you. Be good to good people. Peace of the Saints. Peace of the Saints. Okay. Shout out to the Ummah. Shout out to the Mu'min. I appreciate you. I also acknowledge Mr. Ruffin. He writes, peace of the Saints, Sassin, Miami. Okay. Do everybody want to show up today? Okay. Well, then let's get it. Let me know what it is. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the show of support at a time like this. And I can't wait to reassemble the team, because one thing that I teach you guys this in Boston University is, when there's decisions to be made, you make them quickly, especially the tough ones. And I can't wait to reassemble the team, because we've had a great team. You guys have probably enjoyed like all of the content. Not only have you gotten a lot of content, a lot of free content, but also it's come out quickly. So you got a lot of it and you got it quickly, and it's been cut up into neat 8 minutes, neat reels that are well done, well produced. And I want to keep the team together. I know these guys can't walk around unemployed for too long, so we want to keep them. And so we'll have to be able to figure out something to replace that revenue, because we pay these folks. They don't work for free. It is what it is, but we've gotten some good folks, and it took some time to source them. May I acknowledge Mr. Cannon writes, Peace of the Saints, Sasson DMV. Shout out to the DMV. May I also acknowledge Jermaine. He writes, Google, the largest search engine, a major internet service provider, a cloud provider, a content delivery network, and the censoring force behind the world's largest video platform, all in one. How can this not be considered a monopoly? Jermaine, you bring up a very good point. Don't forget AI and Gemini. May I acknowledge Janita writes, Peace of the Saints. I also created a Venmo to bless the saint. I appreciate you. Shout out to the ladies. Always good to see the ladies show up. And one thing we have to admit is when the ladies show up, that lets you know you're really doing something, especially to my kind of content. And gentlemen, if you just want a quick litmus test for your lady, if you want to know, is my woman evil? Play a couple of my videos for her. If she turn against you, she's evil. It's some things that just bring the evil out of a person, so that'll let you know. If she can't handle what I'm saying, she's evil. Ask me why later. I guess I should say, if you want to know why, send it in below. I'll explain, but I won't assume that you need an elaboration. Jay writes, Greetings, Marquett. Will the products and memberships on thesasson.com continue to be supported now that you're transitioning to school? Oh, absolutely. Because we never, ever, 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 ever trust fully a platform that we don't fully control. So the products will stay on thesasson.com, because I don't know that you can put products on school. And secondly, we wholly control and own thesasson.com. So, of course, yes, indeed. Thank you for asking. May I acknowledge Mr. Naeem came back again. He writes, I wanted to ask you a real question. Do you recommend I get Boss University on marquettism.com or on Patreon? Also, how does the format of Boss University differ on the two sites? Well, Boss University is actually only on marquettism.com. So that's number one. So you can get it there, and eventually it'll be on school.com, and I'll give it to you free. So don't worry, you can just purchase it now and get into it. It'll take you a while to get through it. And before you get through it, I'll probably have it up on school, and then you can just email and say, hey, can I have a login for school? And then we'll just set you up. Shout out to Jing C. Good to see you. It's always good to have everybody a part of this thing. I also acknowledge Rashadi writes, Peace of the Saints, supporting the work. Shout out to Michael writes, I will continue to support. Michael been with us a long time, and he's a great moderator. Shout out to Aaron. He writes, it's great to touch down in any major city in the U.S. and know that there are saints to tap in with. And that's a fact. And shout out to Mr. Chapman. Shout out to Josiah. Shout out to Dan Lee. I've seen those guys move around the country. And shout out to Jabrizi. They've moved around the earth and been able to find sections of folks in the Middle East and various places. So it's a great network, I promise you. Jay Investments writes, big up, Saint. Much love and respect to you. Real bad man. Peace of Saints, bro. You have no idea. Shout out to Randy. He writes, Peace of Saints tuition. With this thing of ours, I am grateful for being a member. I appreciate you for being yourself and speaking truthfully, supporting the work. Shout out to the Sasson. Absolutely. I also acknowledge Robert came in by PayPal supporting. Shout out to Dominic writes, I sent my tuition and the email. Okay, I got that already. Trayvon writes, have you ever thought about reaching out to Myron for advice? I believe FNF got demonetized a little while ago, and I've seen multiple channels that I'm pretty sure Myron still posts on. Peace of the Saints. Yeah, actually, I absolutely do need to reach out to him and see what advice he can give. So I appreciate you reminding me of that. Mr. Santos writes, I'm from Brazil. The censorship corporation will try, but my support will not stop. Peace of the Saints. I appreciate you. And he's been supporting a long time. Shout out to and I think he actually tagged me for the ab challenge. Good to see you again. Shout out to Turwan. He writes, your speech is so eloquent and enthralling. Mr. Burton, it's time to take action. Peace to the Saints. Absolutely. I acknowledge Frank, he writes, reminder to put the Charlie live on the member sites. And let me actually make a note of this real quick, because I already have that downloaded and ready to go. There we go. Okay, very good. I also acknowledge Stephen writes, revolution is the only way. Your content breaks the chains of the mind. Peace and saints. I appreciate you. Very articulate gentleman. Now I acknowledge Brian. He writes, indigenous melanated Americans own house 10 years with only high school diploma. No jobs like this for FBA men out of high school. Why? Marquett, we need to make a billionaire with no strings attached. Listen, that'd be ideal. But you know, one thing that's really important, and I can't emphasize this enough, is that the money alone will not be enough, because you actually have to have the power, which is to say that if you have money and the government doesn't like you, they'll seize your assets, they'll freeze your assets. So you actually have to have an army, essentially, or a militia, or you have to have the political structure infiltrated in the same way that Israel does. So we have to remember that. I acknowledge Mr. Gardner writes, peace at the Saints. Assassin, Carolina, here to show support. Shout out to the Saints all around the world. And shout out to the sections all tapping in. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Amir. He writes, Mr. Burton, I've been watching you for a long time and I've learned much from you. I have great respect for you and your cause. I believe in action and prayer. Therefore, I hope this small amount will help your cause, and I will also pray for your continued success. I appreciate you. And I also believe in the power of prayer as well. I acknowledge Jefferson. He writes, I thought you would get demonetized when you started the debates with them boys 2 months ago. But given that you weren't demonetized, I assumed all was well. That is what makes this news particularly disheartening. I knew all wasn't well. I just didn't think that they would do it in this manner, meaning that I didn't think that they would violate all of their rules. You know, they'd give me strike one, strike two, strike three. So I figured I'd be able to, you know, say I get, well, first you'd have to get the warnings, right? So you're supposed to get a warning, then strike one, then strike two, then strike three. So essentially 4 chances. So I figured when I get the warning, then I tell the team, like, hey guys, like, you guys got to be a little more careful, because if you guys repost content, you're putting your own work at risk. But those warnings never came. So there you go. Lesson learned. The enemy is vicious and ruthless. Shout out to Damien with the bowler alert. He writes, peace to the Saints, overdue tuition. I appreciate you. Shout out to Damien. Came in a strong way. Yes, indeed. I underestimated the enemy. Shame on me. Shame on me. And in the black box, I specifically state, do not behave as though your enemy will not, do not think that your enemy will not behave as enemies do. So it's like saying, don't fall asleep thinking that they're not going to do you harm when they get the chance. And so, book of wisdom here. And I always say, these people are ruthless. I should have known. I should have known. What do we got? A psychopath in here? What this person is like? Way people be so filled with hatred, they just be way off topic. Like this, we talking about some whole other stuff. Bro's like, drop the link. Drop the link. I need to debate. Drop the link. I need some clout. Drop the link. Hey, wise guy. Look at bro. Let me on. This is a crazy world we're in. Yeah, what is wrong with this world? What is wrong with this world, man? People are so mentally ill. It's crazy. What's wrong with these people? Lord. Oh, man. Shout out to Hector. Hector's good to see you. He writes peace of the Saints. Shout out to the real ones. What is wrong with these people? And you know, the sad thing is, you guys know I like to let people on, but when they seem too mentally ill and too belligerent, it's just like, I don't want to let them on because I know it's just going to be a waste of time. It's going to be problematic. Bro is a nut. He says, buddy has no qualifications, just begging for an audience. You feel me? It's wild how, and that's the era that we're in today. We're in the era of the professional amateur, right? It's like cats are amateurs, but they want the respect, the regard, and the opportunity afforded to professionals. I believe, bro. He writes, I reported him 30 plus times. I believe every bit of that, dog. I swear I believe you. I swear I believe you, bro. Shit, it might have been more than 30. Listen, I get hate DMs every day from people like this, and they're generally racist, like N-word, things like this. Look at bro, you are a brokey. It's like, bro, okay, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Oh my, right? He said, "Let me on" is wild, right? Sound like a little kid or something. Why is bro so crazy? Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Little nut. What's wrong with these people? All we ask of you, little buddy, is that there's a link. All we ask of you is that you turn on your camera and you don't curse. That's it. Look at this person, mental. Baldy coward. Too coward to talk to me. And this is what I want you guys to understand, is that we're in an era where people are increasingly mentally ill. And it's only going to grow because you have people thinking AI is their friend. These fools over here talking to Chat GPT like it's the homie. Like, that's insanity. They think Chat GPT is their homie. It's like, word. Like, y'all dudes are sick out here. Look at this nut just joined on, but he won't turn on his camera. These people are weird. These people are totally weird. The funny thing too is that they've been waiting in the chat like hours hating. Okay, I'm gonna give you 5 more seconds, kid. And if you don't turn on your camera, I'm gonna just block you. It's that fourth generation opioid addicts. Put your camera on your face, kid, or else you're getting blocked. These people be so weird. It's internet people. Imagine, and this is what I'm talking about. They'll beg and beg and beg and beg. But one thing I notice is that just like a lot of females nowadays, is they have trouble understanding consequences, or going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can go 1, 2, but they can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they ask for the opportunity, but they're not prepared for it. And that's why so often you see people overestimating themselves. They come on to debate, they get obliterated. And half of them will DM me afterward, like, hey man, can you take that down? I'm like, okay, so you came on by force, damn near, you begged. Then you cursed at me, you yelled at me in the DMs, right? You sending me angry voice memos, vulgar DMs, begging and bullying your way on. And then you get on, you get obliterated, and then you ask me to take it down. It's like, come on. That's not quite right. Anyways, for the record, I'm banning this kid from the studio because he didn't turn on his camera. And this is what we're dealing with. Lulu cuckoo. Lulu cuckoo. What can you do? This is the world we're in. May I acknowledge by PayPal? Shout out to Miguel. He writes tuition for from Sass in Houston. Peace of the Saints. Shout out to Sass in Houston. Shout out to Quad. He writes peace of the Saints. We shall overcome. I was just talking about you actually this weekend, Quad. I was wearing your shoes for our trail run that we had. We had 2 trail runs on 2 days. Good runs too. You hear me? Good runs. Anyways, little nutty buddy. I think the concept of trolling itself is very strange. But let's check out this a little bit more, because I want you guys to see how people are talking. And I want you to track if they stick with us over time. So this person writes, the Saints' honesty puts many Muslim leaders, influencers, celebrities to shame. And I think he's right. And I think DJ Khaled and the president of Egypt and the leaders in Saudi and UAE are the ones he's speaking of. But I suppose they're not putting themselves at risk. And that's kind of smart. So let's see if the folks who say that those folks should be speaking up will support the ones like me who do speak up. So that's the kind of language that we're seeing. So I want you guys to track over the next couple months and see how much folks actually support and stick with the movement. And I will take that data and I will utilize that to move intelligently. And the way I want you guys to think about it is that I always say, show love to those who show love to you. And I want to be a good example. I don't want to be an example of someone who went and crashed out over folks who don't care about him and then like messes up all of his own prospects. So maybe we're at a turning point and my hope and optimism is well placed, and that the peoples connected to this particular struggle will support me against the governments of the world that have come against me, against the financial institutions, against the Israelis and the tech giants. Or we will see that, look out for yourself. So we'll take a look. Ladies and saints, I want to give a big thank you first and foremost to my members, not just the new ones. And of course, we appreciate them, but to the members who have been members a long time. Shout out to Jasmine, just came in via PayPal. She writes, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting. But shout out to the members who, of course, are new members, but the ones who have been longtime members, loyal over time. Those who will continue to be longtime members, those who will build this thing by whatever means necessary. That's the time that we're on right now, by any means necessary. Shout out to those who have finally gotten off of the fence and joined up today. Shout out to those who have supported today, which has been many of you. And I can tell you, it's been a challenging day because I just absolutely hate having to let go of my team. I just really hate it. They don't deserve that. They didn't do anything wrong. I mean, none of us did. So I appreciate you all for giving me some positivity in this day. And I do believe that together, over the next couple of months, we can put things back together. And anytime I put things back together, I want to put it back together stronger and bigger and better than it was before. So I look forward to that. And so again, I thank you all. And more important than ever, let us end this with our tradition, the Creed of the Assassin. Repeat after me with full conviction, knowing this is true of you. The Creed of the Assassin. I'm going to be who I truly am because I'm remarkable. And I'm going to strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am. Until next time, peace to the saints.